Booches, it's your boy Big J. Welcome back to 13 Cars Subject to Change. I am, of course, here with Zachariah.
I'm over here.
And we also have Leroy, the man of the hour, the man with the power.
The power? Yes.
The power.
I got all the stuff.
I'd say the power of voodoo, but I'm pretty sure we'd have to pay for that.
The power of voodoo?
We're not even 5 seconds in. I'm not really trying to pay for that. So,
yeah.
With that said, there's something I need to nip in the butt now.
Please do.
Right now. So, of course, the news came through that Kushida let his WWE contract expire. Has not been with the company since last week.
Which, by the way, no one here is surprised it happened. But
I'm not shocked.
But back to your point, Jesse.
I actually called this. If you ever see me in kind of, some of the more popular places to talk pro wrestling, either Pro Wrestling Lounge or Alex's World and things like that. I've actually been one of kind of the main commenters who mentioned this months ago that there's a good chance he will probably leave, either go to Pro Wrestling Noah, but it sounds like what he's doing is he's going back to New Japan.
Yeah.
Now, as I told people back then, I'm like, I believe he'll leave for two reasons. Number one, you could he's clearly not a main event kind of guy. They're not going to push him to be a main event guy. Hell, he would have probably been a lower mid card. He would have had great matches.
Oh, yeah, all day.
But that's who Kushida would have been. Now, unfortunately, there was also the news that technically they lowballed Kushida.
Yeah.
But, at least, like I tell people, at least in that case, they're being honest with him. Like, hey, we just don't have any plans for you.
Look, here's the deal. I mean, in wrestling, if you're not lowballing is such a dirty word in the sense that there's only about a dozen guys in wrestling that you can't lowball, and legitimately you can look at them and say, okay, you're lowballing them.
But everyone in their contract, when they try to renegotiate, at least gets at least a percentage of a raise.
I agree, yeah.
Here's what basically somebody said was the same amount over more time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's basically a lowball offer.
I agree.
Now, I will say this, which, by the way, $650,000.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No.
There's a lot of us not making close to that.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely take that.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
But the difference is that Kushida could have made that back home.
Right.
And worked a slower, much different schedule.
And also worked a slower schedule. He's a bit older. So him going back to New Japan, as we were discussing a little bit off camera here, what would be the reasons he went back? I think one of the biggest reasons is they're probably going to offer him something they've never offered him before. For those who don't know, he left New Japan because he was stuck in the junior division.
Yeah.
They weren't going to take him out of it. They had no interest in using him in the heavyweight tournaments at all.
Well, okay.
He was a junior legend.
Before we go on, junior legend.
Yeah.
Now, he came to NXT about 4 or 5 years ago.
About 3 years ago.
So about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So just
about 2019.
Okay, so about pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
But now let's analyze what has happened in New Japan from the moment he got to NXT to now. He really would not have been doing that much.
Probably not.
Jesse, I would argue when you look at what he did on the Black and Gold brand for a while, he was arguably in somewhat better position than I think New Japan would have used him in this last 3 years.
I agree. I certainly agree. Triple H, especially when he first came in, positioned him as a higher card guy.
William Regal was incredibly high on him.
And so they were hoping to kind of show that he could possibly be an upper mid card main event guy. To the bosses. Now we all know what happened with NXT.
Yep.
Now Kushida, by the way, still has a lot of good faith within WWE. Because they always appreciated his work with Jacket Time.
Not only that,
he
but
was willing to do that. Work with Roderick Strong.
Right. Well, but not only that, but I think Kushida, especially at his age, it's about professionalism. He gets that.
Right.
He's not going to, get. I mean, like you were saying, lowballed. I mean, I think he understands business. I think he understands that's what they valued him at, and that's not necessarily them devaluing him. That's just what they felt they could use him for.
When I think of Kushida right now, I think of because everyone is always so high on people should leave WWE. People should leave WWE.
Yeah.
And my whole thing about when people decide to leave WWE is, are you going to be able to pull at least close to a Cody? Where you go out, you make a huge name for yourself.
Yeah.
And that way you can prove them wrong. Because trust me, once you prove them wrong, they always come calling back with millions of dollars to offer.
Well, I've said, regardless
Look
of
at FTR recently now in the
we'll
dirt
talk about
sheets.
them. Yeah, we'll talk about them very shortly.
He
here.
negotiated with 2019. He was in NXT.
That's my whole thing is that when you look at what New Japan has done the last couple of years, and Jesse's personally said it himself, it's been very up and down, sporadic.
Sure.
Jesse, he just would have been part of the Super Juniors, which arguably in the last couple of years, actually I would say the last 7 years, since Bullet Club really transitioned them into a huge internet audience, the junior heavyweights are kind of just now, hey, they're on the card more so than being pushed, unless it's the Super Junior tournament.
Right. There's like 4 or 5 months out of the year where they focus on them quite a bit.
Well, but legitimately, when you think about it, though, I mean, what's really getting them headlines? What are they focusing on? It's Bullet Club. It's Chaos. It's Okada. It's people.
Well, it's mostly like Okada, of course. Will Ospreay, who has been the great soldier for years, could have not only left New Japan but could have left his home years ago.
Yeah.
The Kushida leaving. Listen, I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
And like I said, he can always go back to New Japan. He could either sign the lifetime contract or a short-term contract. Do some stuff with Strong, prove people wrong again. And then in a couple years get higher offers. I mean, wrestling is in such a good financial spot for the wrestlers that they can go prove their former jobs wrong and then come back and be like,
well, but see, that's the biggest problem is they're so focused on. And, okay, I really hate this because this is back to what the Bucks started, which is weird because they were never there except for like a couple of spots. You're somehow thinking that when you get cut by WWE, the only way to make money on the indies is to just bash them.
Right.
Now, Carl Anderson's been kind of the poster child for this recently.
He's been the new poster child for
which is really weird because he kind of had a contract wherever he wanted. He just decided to continue to be bitter for reasons I don't understand.
He would not have a bigger brand without AJ bringing him in.
100%. Because okay, I know that the indie darling marks want to act like, and see, this is where doing this show has forced, especially guys like me and Leroy, to look at wrestling in context. Just because you love someone that WWE's never touched, like half of the AEW roster when they first signed, I'm going back to when they first signed, that doesn't mean that they're actually as good as you say.
Right.
To your point, Jesse, everyone says, oh, Vince, brought these guys in, didn't use them correctly. You said it yourself. Tony Khan fucked up Joey Janela.
Of all people.
Didn't use him correctly, and he was really only good at one freaking thing in the indies.
Right.
Which they tried to do on the tapings dark matches,
and I mean,
and they hurt Phoenix.
And they originally tried when the company first started by having him in a lot of the hardcore matches.
And he faced Kenny,
faced Kenny, faced John Moxley.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where like, it's. By the way, that's because also that's a guy who is just booking pro wrestling for the first time.
Yeah.
And just why we've been, especially why I personally have been so hard on Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Is that no one else had been. Because it was just like, guys, we're not looking at AEW's booking from a perspective of this is a billionaire who's playing with the world of wrestling for the first time.
So when you think about it, we've recently done your top 5 of who you think have been the worst booked.
Yeah.
You have said on this time, and you've yet to really go on a rant about it, but you've hinted at it. Your boy Chucky T. What does Chucky do well that Tony's just not taking advantage of?
Let me count the ways.
You may, Roger.
So here's the thing. It's what Chucky T is great at. One is he's charismatic as hell. Now, you wouldn't know it when you watch AEW, but he's one of the most charismatic wrestlers ever.
Yeah.
Number 2, as you've gotten to now see on, finding his YouTube matches.
Yeah.
That guy can go in a ring. The stories he can tell in a ring are magical.
He's lanky, but he can go.
Right. He's very Sami Zayn.
Yes.
And they are just missing that opportunity right now. And the number 3, the biggest thing of all is he's one of the great promos.
Well, I don't think he's ever actually talked that much.
So he's
on AEW.
Well, on
television.
AEW, he's barely talked.
No,
he hasn't. I think he talked a little bit when he was the Butler, which I'm sure was Jesse's favorite part of Chucky T's career.
It was so good, guys. Him being a Butler, for him to get beat up by Rusev is so good, guys. Listen, man. And like I said, the reason I've personally been so hard is because if Tony Khan would have come out, during that press conference and said, listen, I get I'm new to you guys' world, but I'm going to do my damnedest to learn.
See, that's the thing that we've all been pissed off about, and Leroy's mentioned this too. Everyone sits there and says, oh, you guys just bash on Tony. We wouldn't talk about the guy if he didn't keep fucking talking.
And he also talks too much.
He just comes out with this arrogance that he hasn't earned in the wrestling business. Tony, just because the fans tell you that you're doing good, and just because of... And here's the deal. When this whole
just because Dave Meltzer keeps telling you...
Here's the deal. When this whole thing finally comes to an end, and I don't mean AEW in general, I mean when this first 5-year class of AEW is gone... They're all going to have 1 or 2 stories about how they were just there for the money. I'm sorry they are, because FTR is not being booked as the best tag team in the world right now because of Tony.
No.
They're being booked because they said, fuck it, we're going to go wrestle.
Right.
Tony Khan, you are no different than Vince in the sense that the only reason why they're your ROH tag team champions, the only reason why they're finally getting matches against the Bucks is because they said, fuck you, we're going to go have classics. Right. And then even you had to be smart enough to sit back and be like, oh, I should probably book these guys and everything. Which, again, we're kind of, just gangling our way through the Kushida thing. But, Jesse, FTR, reportedly, WWE has some interest. Now, I don't think WWE has changed their stance on tag team wrestling, but I think they've realized dudes can draw money.
Yeah,
WWE, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'll let you go right after this. WWE only changes their stance depending on what they're paying the talent. So what I mean by that is you bring back an FTR and you're paying that tag team like $3 million total, 1.5 each.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, tag team wrestling becomes real important to WWE because you're paying those guys a lot of money to come tag team wrestle.
Which is fair.
Go ahead, Leroy.
No, I've heard feelers from WWE, but also from FTR are saying, yeah, we wouldn't mind going back.
Well, that's because FTR, I think, realized, and again, I'm not putting words in Cash or Dash's mouth. They realized, okay, Dax, I apologize. Yeah. All right, we get it. We did we had to do some stupid entertaining stuff, but at the end of the day, the point is to get matches, which Vince says, I'm not going to have you wrestle every week. There's no point in doing that.
That's not the way he's built a $1 billion company.
But the point is that okay, when we do finally get to wrestle, we had classics with the Usos.
Right.
We were having great tag team matches.
Yeah.
I think they realized, and I think it's from the literal fucking year that Tony didn't put them on television, that, you know what? Yeah, we were only getting in matches once every 3 to 4 weeks. It was still more consistent than this bullshit.
And they were also constantly coming up on TV. So it's not like WWE didn't.
Well, that's just it. Tony Khan literally buried them in some graveyard of unused talent.
Right.
And
I understand. Like I said, I got their frustration because WWE doesn't focus on tag team wrestling as much.
I agree.
As they should.
I agree.
But like I said, it's messed up. But that this is the way Vince has done it. But like I've told people, if not for RK Bro, if not for Roman saying, hey, when I come back, I'm going to bring my cousins back with me to do this stable.
Yeah.
They're not focused on tag team wrestling that much. But because of those things, because Randy Orton is so into doing this thing with Riddle.
Is anybody saying Randy Orton is being buried right now?
Absolutely not.
Has anyone said that?
Well,
yes
no. With them coming in,
so what?
The
so
Usos.
hold on, wait. You mean wait? So on. So you mean that a main eventer can actually go down a slight peg and not just be immediately buried? You mean that's a thing?
Right. It's absolutely a thing.
So going back to okay, hold on. Drew McIntyre's made the mid-card relevant because he is a threat for Intercontinental U.S. title gold at any point.
And he's a threat to heavyweight gold at any time.
Oh, yes.
Randy Orton teamed up with Riddle and played his part perfectly. As far as I'm concerned, Sami Zayn's as legit as anybody they got right now. Sami Zayn is just so damn good at playing what Sami Zayn is that, yeah. Oh, Gene pointed out, Sami needs to get like a We the One shirt and needs to like walk around in that now.
Oh my God,
we're getting close,
super close.
We're getting real close, I think.
Well, I was honestly looking at the, before the tag team wasn't that much. Now, you got RK Bro, you got the Usos, you got
Alpha Academy's fucking
Alpha
hilarious.
Academy, Street Profits, the Viking Raiders. you have and then the two
Oh, I also love how the hates come out from the Viking Raiders, and I'm like, 4 or 5 years ago, they were your favorite tag team on the Indies, so you can go right ahead and shut
I
up
still
about
love
your
them.
hate for those guys.
But
that's the problem.
But then
everyone who says screw the Viking Raiders, they didn't watch. They weren't watching them.
I can't remember the Los
Lotharios,
the Latin lovers.
They're just funny.
They're
a good time.
I mean, and then they had Shinsuke and Boogs before Boogs got hurt.
Yeah,
they got some good tag teams.
Oh yeah.
They got some good tag teams down in NXT 2.0. So it's like, yeah, Vince doesn't like tag teams, but they're there.
Well, you know what's
They're
really sad?
Getting better.
And they do use them a lot, by the way.
They have been, yeah.
That was my point. You literally took it out of my mouth. Here's the problem. We all agree the tag team division in AEW on paper is deep as all hell.
Oh, it might be the best in North America.
But what's sad is that WWE is actually using their tag team division. Could you imagine? Hear me out. Hypothetical. They sign FTR to come back, and they just end up being the Revival again. Then they bring up the Creeds.
Yeah.
Oh God, give me that fucking 8 days a week.
I think FTR's in a position
they can work with whoever they want.
where I think if Vince brought them back, I think Tony could make a little money off of Vince, because I think Vince, especially if they want to keep that packaging,
Yeah.
I think Vince would be willing to pay for that packaging,
Yeah.
because people know who they are.
Yeah.
And by the way, like I tell people,
I do it.
I hate being right all the time.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to be right all the time. But damn, was I right about Cody Rhodes? I said all he needs is a new, fresh coat of paint. He goes back to WWE. He's a main eventer again. Oh, my God.
And nothing so far has been taking that coat of paint off.
No.
And I have to give Mark crap. Mark doesn't like Cody. Mark, shut up. Cody, I understand his little thing for that.
Here's the problem, and Bully
Cody's
Ray.
good.
Yeah.
Here's the problem, and Bully kind of touched on it. For once,
Okay.
Bully's actually making statements I actually can.
They're
fathom.
actually good.
It's really
Well,
weird.
that's interesting because I stopped listening to
Yeah.
him.
Well, anyway, he.
Fucking idiot.
Okay, but he said something that Jim's been saying for the longest time, and I think we have to get our heads out of the old school sand. Cody's using big words, but this is a different audience. And it's keeping the kids engaged. I know it's easy to use big words in AEW because they're all adults. There's not a single child in the audience.
Actually, I will say this. I think them being back when they were in Pittsburgh again, and there were actually a lot of kids this time, which was odd.
Pittsburgh had nothing better to do. The school system must have been shut the next day.
I don't know,
But
yeah, they got
my
nothing
point
else
is this.
going on.
But Justin Wentz, we need to stop looking at Cody and seeing Dusty Rhodes.
Right.
We can see Dusty in like the glimmer of his eye. He can be part of the package, but we have to stop looking for Dusty Rhodes in Cody Rhodes. This is not the son of a plumber. This is the grandson of a plumber. This is kind of going back to America. This is the third generation finally made it.
Right.
They're different. They can still believe in those roots,
Right.
but they can be a little more not rednecky about it. Dusty was a redneck that came into money, which we all loved,
Right.
and Dusty had that cadence about him.
And Dustin kind of carried the torch there for a while.
Right,
too.
but
Yeah.
right. But the thing is that Dustin we don't see as the next generation. We almost see him like the generation before, with his dad,
Right.
because he was so good at such a young
Right.
age, because he was the natural.
Right.
But that's my thing is that, if you want Cody to stop using if you want Cody to stop using big words and you want him to start dumbing it down a little bit, then you need to change your perspective and realize he's not the American dream, he's the American nightmare.
And by the way, the big words don't hurt him.
No.
No, I don't.
No.
It actually gives him a certain quirk to his character.
Yes.
That
I also don't know how many big words he's really been using since he got up
not
there.
as
Like,
many. Also, what I've always loved about the American Nightmare thing, and he's been doing a lot more now. He's been back in WWE. Is when he started this gimmick, he had the twitch,
yes.
and now he's been doing it again. And I love because it's the twitch of you never know if he might snap.
Right.
It's the twitch thing. Where is his mind going when he twitches? I've actually liked that he's brought that back.
Yeah.
Because it was so I went to go watch one of the last promos he did in AEW.
Was it the
yesterday.
very last one, or
No,
was
it was the one right before the ladder match.
Got it.
with-
Okay.
with
All right.
Sammy
Yeah,
Guevara.
yeah.
And I'm like, the hate he was getting from that crowd.
Well, that's the funny part. He's given arguably the same promos in
Right.
in WWE than AEW, and I think we're past Because here's the deal. I don't think that WWE has the type of fan base that AEW does, in the sense that I don't think they're cheering for Cody just because he's a defector. They're actually enjoying what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where AEW fans need to realize, if you keep doing shit like this, Sammy and Ty are going to be gone. They would take Ty back. I don't think they were ever against taking her back.
Let me say this about Sammy and Ty, though.
Okay.
They're doing that shit to themselves.
No.
That's true.
Whilst I agree,
that is true.
Whilst I agree, you have to understand something. Keep it on the show. Stop doing it so much in real life and on social media.
Right.
That's part of your problem, is that there's this weird thing in AEW where every fan of AEW has to believe this, and it's almost like it's a requirement on paper. If you're not a wrestler that believes in this cause 100%, then we turn on you overnight. They have to make their own money. They have to make their own lives.
Right.
Cody Rhodes went out and did other things because he had passions outside of wrestling, which, by the way, Vince embraces.
Yes.
He's never cared. As long as you make him the money back that he's paying you, he doesn't give a shit.
Like they're doing now. As long as we, and I said they would have probably eventually do. They just handled everything the wrong way the first time.
Yeah.
Their whole thing will be, as long as we get a little bit of our percentage for letting you use the WWE name, that's it. Let me get my little bit of percentage, and you're good.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing. Xavier Woods is a prime example of everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon and be like, well, why do you ever do it? Because Up, Up, Down, Down is as big as it's ever been and is promoted by a billion-dollar fucking company on their official Twitter, which has more followers than most professional sports teams combined. Why wouldn't you do that as a business person? And then back to what Jesse said a couple of months ago back on the show, you choose the time in which he got a job that is full-time with G4 to come out and say, oh, he's not allowed to work on Up, Up, Down, Down. He doesn't have time!
Right.
The G4 is like a 5-day-a-week gig, and then he has to go to a SmackDown, and then he has to maybe get like an hour to record something, which probably goes to the bump or goes to other stuff. So it's like, you guys don't understand in the AEW or indie smart mark world, you're picking and choosing your battles and they're not making sense. It doesn't make any sense because, again, you choose to say that a guy is being hindered on a platform when he just got a job doing something he loves somewhere else that WWE doesn't care that he does 4 or 5 days a week. Nope. And by the way, doing a great job on G4. Are you actually watching? He's great on G4.
I've only couple clips of him on there, and I love it. I do. I love it.
He's so natural at it.
Oh, yeah.
He really is. But
their whole issue is marketing, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's really been their big. They don't know how to market themselves anymore, which is insane because we all used to watch it when we were kids.
Yeah, we did.
So I'm like, I don't know who runs G4 anymore, but you do a terrible job.
Well, they market themselves in GameStops. But
that's a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I used to be a GameStop employee. I enjoyed my time there, but that's a terrible thing to do.
I agree. But that's my whole thing.
I still like shopping there.
It's a good place to shop.
That's where I got my PS5. Yeah.
But that's my whole thing. Is just Jesse. Vince embraces you becoming a celebrity.
Right.
Whereas the fans of AEW are like, okay, you have to 100% be committed to what they think professional wrestling is. Yeah. But the problem is that you guys are cheering for Orange Cassidy. That's not pro wrestling. That's sports entertainment.
So
name one territory in the 80s that would have taken Orange Cassidy.
Jericho's sports entertainment. Let me just for the last time.
Okay.
For the last time. I just need everyone who loves AEW, and I like AEW. I just need everyone who really, really overloves it to just admit what it is. Okay, it's sports entertainment.
Is it okay? Might have to use some Miz line here, boys. But quick question for y'all: AEW is sports entertainment.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
The Bucks are not portraying territory wrestling. They're portraying what Vince had in the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
They think that they are bringing back true wrestling, but they're really just giving you a dumbed down version of what Vince did. This is the thing I don't understand. You're not going back to the days of Dusty and the Sheik. You're going back to Vince when he first purchased the company.
Right.
Everything you do is Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. That's everything you do. And even Tony Khan, who it's clear by his booking and the shit we talked about last week with Eric's book, maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't remember.
Yeah.
You are portraying the version of WCW that was Eric's WCW, not the Jim Herd era, not the Dusty booking era.
Right.
This isn't wrestling. This is sports-based entertainment wrestling, which Vince convinced legions of people to believe this is wrestling.
Right.
If you want what Smoky Mountain had, if you want what the territories had, what Sheik was booking, what everybody else was booking, what they had out in Southern Cal back before Rancho Cucamonga became the epicenter of bad comedy wrestling, you guys just have to sit back and admit, Tony, this isn't Mid-South. This isn't Memphis. You're booking WCW Eric Bischoff era.
I mean, if you really want Mid-South, I mean, Jim Cornette's still alive.
Well, yeah.
You're not wrong.
And he'd do a lot better, and he'd look at the Bucks. I dropped the bottle.
You did.
And
Just like the Bucks dropped the ball. Continue.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
What
You know,
segue.
if the Bucks want to have Rev Wrestling and back in days, stuff like that, listen to FTR. Do what FTR is doing.
They did it. They did it, and they put out the best tag team match they've ever had.
Let me get in on these stupid motherfuckers. So,
I don't know if they're put on the best, but they got to do the same thing.
No. The last match they had with FTR, I think, is the best Bucks match I've ever seen.
Okay, that one, yeah. The first
Hands
one
down.
sucked.
Because
But
Jesse,
the last one, yes.
that was not.
That second match was incredible.
That was not a greatest hits of the Bucks. That
was them living up to their potential finally.
Yeah. It only took 17 years, boys.
Now to get into these fucking idiots.
Oh, God.
So,
Yeah, they're going after New Japan this week.
So I was
aren't
trying to find the exact quote, but right now I can't find. I had it saved and now I can't find it
It's all good.
Automatically because I would have to scroll through much better pro wrestling notes.
Yeah.
But so apparently yesterday they decided, and I guess they should comment because they still have some power within AEW, to comment on the joint pay-per-view show between New Japan and AEW. Now, first of all,
calling it Forbidden Door, boy, that sounds a lot like a Vince move. Sorry, it does.
You know what? I actually give Tony Khan credit on this.
No. I'm giving him credit. I'll give him credit.
So far, he's beat the businessman in WWE, who seems to be like a year and a half late to every party, by the way, since he's been hired back.
Well,
in
he's too busy
2018.
making sure that the fans are okay from burning signs. But go on.
He's not a hero. Let's be honest. Nick Khan is not a hero. Let's be absolutely honest here. So he was saving himself and his children, which is fine.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit about WWE fans.
No.
So they decide to put out there how they felt they were burned by New Japan and they were spurned. We've been through this. We've been down this road before with New Japan, but we're proud of Tony for getting this done and blah, blah, blah. And then there was another shot about how we didn't get our proper
And by the way, it's not kayfabe because these guys have never done kayfabe. This is who they actually are. They've always been themselves, but please continue.
Because, of course, it started with the comment with, like, the laughing emoji thing. Once again, Zach, I have to ask, what made you like the Bucks?
I'm going to be honest. The Bucks, I've enjoyed classic lucha, which means I'm okay with a little bit of chaos.
Sure.
I enjoyed their ability to fly around, and they told in-ring stories.
Yes.
And they were able to captivate me with the ability to be brash, to be brazen.
Sure.
Problem is, where the rehab came in, was you realized they were just two selfish pricks who were thinking that they were portraying what they thought wrestling was.
Right.
And you turn around and you realize they weren't doing this for the betterment of any. The fact that Eric gives them credit for changing the pay scale, and which they deserve, it came as a byproduct of getting themselves over and literally not giving a shit about anybody else.
Right.
I got the quote.
Oh,
what they put up.
Go ahead.
Please.
Yeah.
All right, this is what they said. Hey, remember when we tried to get them on board day one, but they wanted to wait. But they waited till the dinner table was completely set first. And also, didn't give us a proper send-off.
Jim Cornette recently put out because he's re-spoken about them because people, because like I said, he spoke about this apparently on his podcast that you found for me years ago, and I listened to it.
Yeah.
But he refreshened it. He re-spoke about it a couple days ago. I think last week sometime.
Yeah.
And what he was to kind of quote, that's not the right words, but
Paraphrase.
Thank you. Paraphrase everything the man was saying was, I saw a highly talented team, but I also saw two guys that felt like whatever we tried to put them in was beneath them.
Yeah.
And all we were trying to do was show them that they were megastars. Just work with us because, he said, basically, you see great talent in them.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
Like, of course, if you're kids who are practicing like that, you have this kind of love. He's like, their athleticism is undisputed.
Yes, I agree.
Jim was really trying to explain to the Young Buck fans in the best way he could that the reason that he kind of turned on them really was the fact that their egos are just insane.
Yeah.
Now, I know people think, well, coming from Jim, that's what does that say? Jim never really had a monster ego, though.
No.
Now, Jim is an asshole.
Yes.
Let's be very clear.
He'll admit this himself.
Jim is a curmudgeon-y asshole.
He is.
But he's never had the biggest ego. Never.
No.
I can be an asshole.
Because remember
and
who brought him into the business?
Right.
The Jarretts.
Yes.
Yes.
Not a lot of ego there,
No.
although, again, Jeff was spurned, so he had an ego trip early in TNA. But
and remember,
yeah.
Jim also worked with the late, great Jim Herd.
Yes.
That guy was not ego-driven. That guy was about doing professional wrestling.
Business,
And doing business and also making sure they put on a great show for the fans every week.
Which they did 3 times a night in like 3 different cities every night.
For 3 decades.
Oh, God, yeah.
Insanely successful. But these fuckers.
Yeah.
Every time I turn around, since 2014,
Yeah.
and and Gato started getting them all this hype in the junior tag division. Every time I turn around, they say the most egregious shit on the planet.
Well,
woe is me.
You said when
we
you did your clown
deserve
list.
more credit.
You said,
we're the greatest. You should just bow at our feet. Shut the fuck up.
You said during your clown list that they've been trading on a story that they've been telling for the last 16 years.
They have wrestled the same goddamn match for 15 years.
Yes.
Yes.
Even though just the FTR match showed that they're better than that.
Yeah.
But that's all they've done is wrestle the same damn match for 15 years. And then when people started pointing out the flaws within the matches, and then, you know what, those people are always going to hit. No! You're on television now. There's just some things you have to change if you want a large audience.
If you only want to wrestle once a month on AEW, that's fine. But you guys are the ones that chose to be on the show as often as you were.
And then have the nerve. Now, listen, I always said Howard was right in his final call, but he was wrong in the way he handled things with the Elite. I've always said that. I said he was right, but he was wrong. Mm-hmm. I said he was right because he should be pissed off. Technically, you guys are still under contract. I get that you want to start this American company.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one of the presidents...
Well, but remember, they also left Impact early to go work in ROH,
right.
which by the way, Jim Cornette was like, I don't have anything for you because guess what? We couldn't talk to you for 2 weeks.
And so... Well, by the way, Obara is what's his name's son, I believe, and he's a very good guy.
Yeah.
But the constant backshots at the former companies that you backstabbed, and so when New Japan goes, well, you're not fucking doing it to us. So if you want to go start AEW, fine, but you're done.
Yeah.
Now the fact that they listened to Howard Mange and did that was just because Howard Mange said these guys have betrayed Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
These every time they turn around.
Impact.
They've betrayed AAA a couple of times. Like, these guys, every time you turn around, they fucking all of a sudden don't show up because they found better money somewhere, which is fine.
But finish out your deals.
But finish out your damn deal.
Yeah.
Or let it expire.
Yep.
One thing Kurt Angle always got respect for was when things didn't work out, he let his contracts expire.
Yep.
What? I can't fucking stand these two human beings. They are poison.
They really are.
They are poison, and what they've created is a poison. They've created a poison in the fan base, and we can't get rid of it.
No,
because I found that quote because I believe actually, to be fair, Brian Alvarez actually did criticize them for that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Brian Alvarez, you can fucking come out of your I hate WWE out of your ass phase. Good for you. But he was talking about it, and someone sent me that he was talking about it, and I'm just like, yeah, but nothing has changed with them for 15 years. Like I said, when I met them, I thought they were sweet guys.
How can you get mad at multiple companies when you refuse to adapt? When you refuse to change any... And by the way, here's the deal. If something makes you money, that's great, but just change something. They've been doing the same thing for half of my life.
Well, here's a good thing. If they're supposed to be good Christians, that's what they say, right?
They say
okay.
They're the Republican version of Christian, but please go on.
They need to be humble.
Whoa, we got to give up on that.
That ship sailed, that rocket took off, that boat sunk. How many more euphemisms can I say? That is long gone.
If they would learn it and actually become humble, then that would be good for them.
AJ Styles, if he wanted to, when he retired from WWE, could always go do a Legends match in New Japan for two reasons. One, he didn't leave on terrible terms.
No.
Yeah.
He took his ass beating on the way out.
He took his ass whooping on the way out.
And then he wrestled a match less than 24 hours later after that ass whooping.
He had WWE and New Japan in contact with each other about the deal.
Yep.
And then, and he left everything on good terms there.
Oh, Gato would take him back in a heartbeat.
Right.
He's a gentleman. I mean, through and through. He's a gentleman.
He's a professional.
One thing about New Japan and All Japan Pro Wrestling is when you spur them. Ask one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, Brock Lesnar. What happens when you spur those Japanese dudes? It's very hard to go back to Japan.
Yeah.
The first time he went back was under WWE contract because he would have security.
Yeah.
Because especially when he did what he did, they were still half controlled by the damn mafia. Don't do it. Like, they work a certain business. If you're going to leave, they understand business.
Yeah.
If you're going to leave with some damn respect. But all you showed New Japan, by the way, the biggest thing was the Madison Square Garden show.
Yeah.
So all you ever show New Japan and other companies is that when it benefits you, you'll do what's best for you.
And the worst part is, you didn't spurn them on a random Tuesday night in Osaka. In Osaka, you burned them on one of their biggest nights in the States.
Yes.
And Jesse, the world can question. I know there's the new Crypto.com thing. I know there's this. You come from the place with the world's most famous arena.
Yes.
You play that arena, you've done something.
Right.
You like if you fill that arena, you're a made person, and whatever you fill that arena in. You are a made man or woman if you fill that arena.
Absolutely.
And they helped fill that arena and then didn't show up.
Right.
Because they found a better offer
from
a billionaire who was, and again, this is the part that people don't understand.
And by the way, it's the reason they take more shit on that than the other couple of more elite members. Kenny actually wrestled his match.
He did.
Yeah.
Now he didn't do. Now he did take heat for not doing the press and all that, but he still wrestled the match, met with the fans right after the match, and then left. Okay, fine.
Look. Here's the deal. I'm tired of the world, and this is gonna seem weird, but can I defend Kenny for a second, please? I know it's shocking, but can I defend Kenny for a second?
Like I said, I used to always defend Kenny, and then he had that run, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Well, but let me defend this on Kenny. Okay. LeBron James might skip out of this media. They fine you because it's in your contract that you need to do that.
Right.
Tom Brady doesn't shake a quarterback's hand when he loses. I get it. And here's why I get it. Here's the deal. You put everything you have into a professional sporting event. Your blood, sweat, tears, your adrenaline, everything. If it doesn't go your way, your brain just doesn't know how to process it for fucking 24 hours.
Right.
So if Kenny doesn't want to do presser, I get it.
Right.
They'll fine you, but I'm not mad that Kenny did the thing he was technically supposed to do.
Which is wrestle.
And yeah, he might have skipped out on the presser. I get it. But who knows how Kenny felt after the match?
Right.
Who knows what was going through everything? It's like, I don't give a damn about the press because half the time the press just trying to fucking do their own agenda anyway.
Right.
I'm sorry. I got a rant
Yeah.
about the fact that the only thing that people still think that makes MJ the GOAT is that Defensive Player of the Year award. Marc Gasol. That's all I need to say. Anyway, the press needs to get over their own shit. Because I'm sorry, how many years did it take you to put Tony Oliva in the fucking Hall of Fame?
Yeah, too long.
How many guys? One of the greatest hitters in the history of the game doesn't get in because he didn't have the best relationship with the writers. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Are we stupid? Terrell Owens, as much of he's ruining his own legacy with his fan-controlled football league, Terrell Owens doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame because he just decided to be a dick to you guys?
Right.
Go to hell. Every single writer in America that does sad to believe Skip Bayless is actually the one that makes the most sense because he at least admits that regardless of if he had a good relationship, he knows who's great and who's not.
Right.
But it's just no. I don't care that Kenny didn't do a presser. He wrestled the goddamn match, so he doesn't even deserve heat to that, in my opinion. Because you know what? Find him on a different date and ask him the same question. It's not that fucking hard.
It's just.
But as it pertains back to the Bucks, you didn't do shit that night.
They have created one of the most toxic waves inside of pro wrestling.
Can I just say,
ever.
I'm surprised that with their Christian views, and for you, sir, Leroy, I use that in quotes because I know it's not true. I'm surprised Nyla Rose is allowed in that locker room.
Well, with them, sure, but
with their Republican Christian views, I'm surprised Nyla Rose is even allowed in the locker room.
And you know what? She would be allowed in my church, and she would be loved.
Because those two are assholes.
Because
they're
it's a child of God,
right,
no matter what.
Right. But those two are assholes.
They really are.
I'd welcome them still in my church, but they better pray.
Listen, and that's because you're a loving man, Leroy.
We're not.
They're not welcome at my barbecue. They're not welcome to go to my Quick Trip when I go get my chicken. If I see the Young Bucks, you better super kick me and run. I don't want. They are poison.
Yeah.
Hogan is horrible.
Yeah.
Hogan is horrible for many, many reasons. Terry Bollea is.
Yes.
But these two jackasses, mostly Matt more than his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like you guys never grow up.
No.
You never get it. You'll just never get it. And I swear to God, if they show up in WWE in 2 years, I'm going to a show. And I'm getting.
I don't think they will.
Oh, you never know. They love the big money.
Here's the thing, Leroy.
They love the big money.
Here's the thing, Leroy. They went to a billionaire because Heath saw them as the bar of indie wrestling.
Right.
They've had 7 figures since day one.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, I found somebody posted on it's a fan page, it's not actually him, the Maxwell Jacob Friedman Facebook page. He was at an indie event, very small event, kind of like our Turtle Lake shows.
Right.
And he said, and I quote,
I saw that.
January 1st, 2024.
Right.
If WWE comes a-calling and they got the money right, you'll see me in WWE. There ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And so
I did love his comment.
So here's the thing. MJF is at least an honest businessman.
Right.
Tony's just a little bitch head. The Bucks, they don't even have the fucking balls to tell Tony, yeah, we'd do the same thing.
Well, MJF is saying...
Because they would bring them in, and they'd give him a 7-figure deal, probably.
Right.
A low-balled one, but it's a 7-figure deal.
Right.
And they'd be pushed like that.
Right.
But the problem is, I give it 6 months before they're out because they won't get pushed to where they want.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It's one of those. So one thing I have loved about working sometimes with the smaller companies like a MAW, Eric's DPW.
By the way, can I say congratulations to Dave and the boys?
By the way,
last
Warriors was great.
Congrats to those guys.
Congratulations to them.
Oh, it's just on the CW.
Yeah, it's on the CW in the cities, but they also put it on their. So they'll have it up, I think, on their thing on Monday.
You can get the CW app on your Fire Stick.
Right. And then,
I can get the CW app. Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
On my
Warriors
phone.
was.
It was really good.
I
if
did
I get
hear
shit
what
like
they put
that
on
weekly
there.
from
Yeah, it was really
from an indie company, they gonna grow real fast, real quick.
Listen. I think I keep saying it because I just think it's absolutely real. The one thing that they have, and this is not a knock on the other companies.
Yeah.
The one thing that MAW has is excellent leadership.
Yep.
That leadership is excellent.
Now,
Dave,
yes.
Eli.
Now it's worth noting,
and Ring General
Brian's up there. Yep.
Brian. Yeah.
And Brian. It just excellent leadership allows you to grow.
It's also worth mentioning because regardless of if it's right or wrong, this is how sadly America usually feels. They are Native American owned.
Yeah.
And yes, Dave will have moments where he brings in the prayer circle and the drum circles, and that's great.
Sure.
But they're not pushy about it,
Right.
which if there's one thing that's really gotten Americans mad, it's when you're pushy about religious things or about cultural things. You know, you can be about it, just don't be pushy about it. And while it is 100% a part of what that company does,
Right.
you still get a show
Right.
that appeals to everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they can be proud of it,
Right.
but Dave doesn't say, "Oh, this is all about Native American culture. This is just it's a great hybrid of it."
I think Dave, like I said, Dave, Eli, Brian,
And Dave, by the way,
general,
and
excellent. Crew,
yeah, and by the
man.
way, Eli goes along with all the intertwined Native American stuff. It's a very tolerant group at the top.
And as we tell people, when you go to a show, you feel the positivity and love when you're there.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a love of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And then there's just a love of like, come be entertained, come hang out with people who share an interest with you.
Yeah.
Like it's beautiful.
Also,
and I actually think what I love the most, like I said, not a shot at any other promoter.
Yeah.
Is I also because actually I think Eric Nordrum, who we've had on the show quite a few times, does a great job of this too.
Yeah.
He also likes to just go hang with his fans.
Yeah.
Hey, are you enjoying the show? Is everything going well? Like, because as a business owner, you don't have to.
You
do
will
that.
not get as a fan.
Yeah.
You will not get taken care of better than anywhere. I think
they
anywhere
do
than
such a
MLW
great
show.
job.
And the other thing about it is that like I said, I want to focus for a second on that positivity vibe. It's not, again, America doesn't like pushy. That's kind of how the country was founded.
Right.
You know, the whole Pilgrims coming over, the religious freedom thing.
Yeah.
There is a culture, and MAW has none of this, and that's what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
There is a culture in America, and it's toxic, and sadly it's a lot of the Bucks fans.
Right.
Our way is the only way, and we hold on to years of oppression, years of this, years of that. Jesse, I'm not trying to take a shot, but the black community, sometimes there are some older people that may get a little overhyped about it and can't move on from certain things and not allow things to grow.
Sure, depending on the situation, sure.
You've mentioned some people that you've met that
Sure.
Some of them have the right to feel a certain way,
Sure.
and some of them need to understand that there needs to be growth.
Right.
Everyone in that moment is there for that prayer circle. Everyone is there
Right.
for that wonderful cultural display.
Right.
It's not meant for the only Native American people in the
Right.
audience. It's I don't want to say dumbed down, but it's made applicable for everyone in the audience. And the kids are a part of it as well. Everything about it is just fantastic. And I feel like when you look at the AEW audience, we could not come in there and boo what they're cheering.
Right.
WWE doesn't give a damn if you boo or cheer, they're just going to do the show. We would not be allowed in by forget the wrestlers. We paid our money the same way you did, but because we're the guys who don't like that or prefer that to that, you're going to get mad at us, and that's going to make sense to you.
Oh, let me be honest. I'm going to an AEW show this
I know.
year.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck how those fans feel. I'm going because I love pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And trust me, because my hard-earned money will have paid for the show.
Yeah.
But
my voice will be heard.
But speaking of pro wrestling, you guys, I don't know if you saw that notice, but we have a date with MEW with our favorite promotion they love to do, Grand Slam 4.
We do.
November 5th,
Man.
2022. Location is to be determined, but we got to save that day. It's Saturday night, November 5th.
If you have the ability, and I will say this,
okay,
because it'll probably be somewhere in Minnesota.
We will promote the hell out of that place.
Here's the deal.
You know we are.
Here's the deal. If you are within 8 hours, because that's my range for going to a show.
Right.
If you're within 8 hours of the cities in Minnesota, Grand Slam is a night to remember. It is they put so much into Grand Slam. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is.
And on top of that, it's a great cause.
It's a great cause.
It is a great cause for Women's and Nations. We just love it.
They do such it's such a hell of a promotion, or it's such a hell of a product / show too, because you would think when you go to a MAW Grand Slam show that you just showed up to an Impact show.
Yeah,
because they just do such a great job of production, and just the wrestlers do a great job of putting on these excellent matches. It's so damn wonderful. It really is. And the legends you get to meet beforehand, usually that they find.
I know.
It's awesome.
Who are we gonna be able to meet that night?
Man, with Dave.
Well, but to be fair, Jesse needs to come this time.
I know you got to do it.
I should make it.
You keep getting mad at me for the wrestlers that I've seen the last couple of years. You had a chance to sit in the car with Jerry the King Lawler. You did. You did.
Yeah,
I know.
You had a chance to do that and hang out with Kurt Angle for about 5
I would
minutes.
also like to point out.
Well, it's all right.
I would also like to point out.
Oh, yeah.
As we go back to our friends at All Elite Wrestling, Jesse, Battle of the Belts ratings went down a lot on a standalone Saturday show.
By the way, this was the second Battle of the Belts in 3 months.
Yeah.
How bad was the ratings?
Oh, it didn't even hit 500.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
It didn't.
Holy crap.
They were down, I think it was 16% from the first one.
Yeah, it didn't even hit 500,000.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Well, what's the difference? Well, who was on the first one?
It doesn't.
Compared to
a lot of the same people, actually.
Yeah,
a lot of the same people.
That's what was really sad.
Really?
That was really sad, yeah. Also,
that is bad.
The Thunder Rosa match was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit disappointed in the ending, but it was what it was.
Oh, by the way, folks, Leroy celebrated himself a wonderful Good Friday this year. And Tony Khan caused a ruckus that might get him pulled off of television with a Good Friday.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, do you remember the whole Texas death match that wasn't a Texas death match?
Yeah.
Do you remember the wrapping Cole's head in barbed wire? That was on Good Friday!
Yeah.
Yep.
Allegory Jesus Adam Cole.
Yeah.
I saw that and I said, you guys are dumbasses.
By the way,
didn't offend me.
Funny story. The Texas death match
say-
that wasn't a Texas death match, the ratings were down.
Yeah, it was.
That didn't even bring people to Rampage either.
No.
But it didn't offend me either.
Well, no, I understand that, but Leroy, you're not one of the toxic Christians that call the radio stations every 5-6 minutes.
I don't. Well, they didn't take that much heat for it. I mean, they took heat for it,
Yeah.
understandably, but so they edited it out of their YouTube, thing and all that. But it happened.
Yep.
By the way, to be honest, I actually don't think that was purposeful.
No.
So what happened was Paige was trying to choke him with it.
Yeah.
And so as he falls out the ring and lands,
Yeah.
it landed that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they were mindful of it.
Right.
But here's the deal. It was a last man standing match because that's all it actually was.
That's all it actually is.
Because Texas death matches are a pinfall, then the 10 count.
Right.
But
Yep.
we clearly just keep throwing classic names on matches that we don't actually know what they do anymore in AEW. But
WWE does not own the name Last Man Standing. There's no fucking way they can.
No, they don't.
There's a song by freaking who were they? Pop Evil.
Yeah.
They have a last man standing song.
Or
and by the way, Pop Evil doesn't have the money to pay WWE. So
War Games, sure, because that's a actual property.
Yes, that was intellectual property.
The name Last Man Standing or the name of a hardcore match, they don't actually. There's no way they actually fucking own that.
There's a movie with the same name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a good movie.
There's no way they own that in pro wrestling.
There he is.
That's why I'm just just call it what it is. It's the Last Man Standing match.
Oh,
It's
and by
fine.
the way, just AEW just have a tables match in which everyone's legal the entire time because again, Hardys, how are you proud of what you did that night?
Apparently not. So apparently where it is, Jeff's already upset.
It's a rumor, but hey, before Jesse goes on, it's a rumor, but there's truth in a lie.
Well, like I said, the word is. I didn't say it was true.
No, yeah.
But, so
I don't think Jeff's asking WWE to buy out his contract. He's probably still mad at them for a reason.
But
he's probably mad at this.
I got to be honest. I would, if that is true, I would believe it.
That's fair. So, Leroy, before we go on, have you gone back yet and have you witnessed what I described to you yet? Because, by the way, Allison's been in wrestling now for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I described that tables match. She didn't think it made sense.
It didn't.
Well, the barbed wire thing?
No.
With the Hardys.
The Hardys versus the Butcher and the Blade, the tables match. You haven't watched it yet?
No, I did a little bit. But it makes no fucking sense.
So the rules of a tables match are, oddly enough, the table has to break.
Right.
Yes.
Not just get flat. But, Jesse, remember, nobody is actually in control when the matches are happening, so everyone just goes to the next spot, a la Lance Archer.
Mm-hmm.
See, we have our own experiences that. Because when we did the Funny Bone and Super Beast match, the table didn't break.
And they just kept going.
The legs broke.
Right.
Nobody went through the table, and they said, shit, we got to do it again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
All right.
And they finished. That's what you're supposed to do.
This past week was another week of, Jesse, we had fun. It was impressive. I saw some nice stuff. And there were moments where like, what the fucking hell are we doing? First and foremost,
It's a normal AEW Dynamite.
First and foremost,
there you go.
Apparently, first of all, CM Punk versus Dustin Rhodes, always going to be
Great
good.
match.
Oh, yeah.
Now, okay, I've gone back and watched Punk's issue from the week before. I actually give him credit for covering it with the leg injury.
Sure.
But to your point, where was the hate for the botch?
Right.
But Punk versus Dustin Rhodes was good. By the way, folks, I don't think the rumors on the internet are true. I think that Punk will probably beat Adam Page. I don't see Punk putting over Adam Page when it's clear that Punk wants to be the world champion.
I've never trusted Phil Brooks, so whatever happens will happen. But
yeah,
I just don't trust him.
But hey, you know what? It was a highly competitive match because you had two guys that
I've never
could go.
trusted CM Punk. It's just even before the pipe bomb, I started to see the chink in the armor that was the renegade CM Punk, and I started to smell the bullshit. But yeah,
So you had the Blackpool Combat Club versus Brock Anderson, Lee Moriarty, and Dante Martin. This was a beatdown.
Oh, well, this wasn't a match. This was an ass whooping.
This hurt. However, this is the best I've seen Wheeler Yuta look in a long time.
Daniel Bryan's going to get everything he wants with the way this thing's going with Wheeler Yuta. Bryan Danielson's going to get everything he wants. He's going to get Lee Moriarty in this thing, and somehow they're going to be like, yeah, we're going to take Daniel Garcia away from Jericho.
By the way, folks, watch those dirt sheets. Dante Martin is not as hurt as it was reported. He even confirmed himself what he's got going on has nothing to do with a wrestling injury.
And
he's not out.
I did see that,
and
too.
He's not out because remember, they were reporting he's out for a long time, and he basically just tweeted out and said, no. No.
I was going to make sure that we did say that,
make
too.
Sure we said that.
Our boys in Top Flight are doing good. He just had to step away for a little bit.
Tony Khan's major announcement, which was the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. We're all looking forward to it. Once again, they're going to Chicago because that seems to be the only place they can draw a crowd except for Jacksonville. And then we had
For real, it's really it.
And then we had the only other good thing right now that's happening. Oddly enough, it's a cast off of MJF. Wardlow versus the Butcher was exactly what it should have been.
Big meaty men being physical, slapping meat for about 6 minutes.
I hate to say it. Jesse, it recently came out again. I'm not saying it just came out because it's been before, where they basically it was said again that when Brian Cage was cut from WWE Developmental, they were like, "You've gone as far as you can. We can't do anything else with you." I feel like that if Wardlow keeps doing this, WWE will want him along with MJF.
Oh well, first of all, they're going to want MJF, but.
I said along with MJF.
Wardlow is a Vince kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
Big, physical, good-looking young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Vince kind of guy.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. Bleacher Report gave it a C+. They weren't high on it, but the problem is that when Bleacher Report, once again, seems to be on the AEW payroll of, if it's not something that, quote-unquote, is just more than a spot fest and a bunch of stupid shit, it can't be good, because this was exactly what it should have been to keep the storyline going.
This is everything that it was supposed to be. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's not gonna make happy.
Nothing against the Butcher. you're not somebody who deserves a competitive contest. You're
No.
fodder. Congratulations.
I mean, he kind of still got one in a sense.
Well,
but
yeah. Some news on this a little later, but we go to the first round of the Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament. Jungle Boy versus Kyle O'Reilly.
It was a great match.
Great match. Funny that when Jungle Boy's away from the dinosaur, he seems to actually look like a professional wrestler. It's really weird.
Well, like I said before, though, I'm like, he had the feud with Kenny Omega, and I'm like, well, right back to the mid-card with you, bitch. And
I do find it interesting. I did see that they're going to have FTR go against each other in a round with the old
this
classic.
upcoming week.
Yep.
Yeah, they said
I thought
first
that's
and only
very
time.
interesting.
Which, by the way, I can't wait to see.
That should be a
That'll
classic,
be great.
Like,
Oh,
pure
God.
wrestling match. It's almost like, you give your kids some cookies, right? And you put the cookies away.
Yeah.
And then they keep trying to come get the treats. And so, like, you're like, too much. You've had too much sugar. Time to go to bed. So, basically, what AEW has done to Jungle Boy is, you know what? You deserve the tag team titles. You've been a good kid here. Back to the mid-card with you, bitch. You thought you were going to beat Kyle O'Reilly? Nah.
Can I also point something out?
Yeah.
Just because O'Reilly won, because I saw a bunch of AEW smarks saying this. Guys, he's, as of right now, as we sit and breathe, he's no better off than he was in WWE. Sorry.
He's about
not.
to say, he
Kyle's
was totally better off being Cool Kyle.
Okay, and here
And I hated Cool Kyle.
You hated Cool Kyle.
and here's a question, guys, that you can answer.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Buddy Murphy, how many matches has he had since he's been signed?
I saw someone defend it
0.
because he's quote-unquote playing his role within the House of Black, and I'm like, his whole fucking gimmick is the best kept secret in wrestling, so you're doing the same shit WWE did!
Has he been on YouTube?
No, he's had 0 matches!
He hasn't had a fucking match.
He
yet.
hasn't had one match since he
sorry.
signed with AEW.
One singles match. He's had 2 tags.
Two,
But he hasn't had a
two-
singles match.
2 trios, actually.
2 regular tags with Brody.
Oh,
on
okay,
the dark.
yeah.
You know what I got to say about that? Good job, Tony.
Oh, God.
Good job getting that guy in there and giving him some. Wait a minute.
It
haven't
is
got a match.
insane.
Oh, God.
It is insane to me. You have Brody, you have Tommy, you have Buddy. Really cool faction.
Yep.
This is all you've done.
Yep.
I am glad the asking price of Bray Wyatt is too high for you. You don't deserve Bray
Now,
Wyatt.
what's really funny about this, I love every story that comes out because it gets no press coverage about prices not working for Tony Khan.
Right.
You were outbid by WWE for Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens!
Right.
Kevin Steen
Right.
apparently was too much for you. You said, and I quote, you have more money than Vince, and I could buy Vince. Yeah, Daddy ain't writing that check.
Right.
I've said that 1,000. I will say that till the day I die. Daddy ain't writing
No,
that
he's
check.
not.
Hell no.
You have more money than Vince. You are worth more than Vince. Well, your daddy is.
Mm-hmm.
Your daddy has so much guilt in him built up from years of
He
bumper
He
problems.
must have just been the most
I know what
absentee father ever.
I know what a fender bender is, but this is something else. It's a bumper joke because damn it, money's a bumper.
Right.
But it's like, okay, so
It's
you
a lot
have,
more
so
than
you
that.
have arguably 70 years worth of freaking childhood guilt to where your father is letting you spend money. Okay. I found an article that did the math, Jesse.
Oh, shit.
I found an article that did the math. ROH was valued at $3.5 million.
That's horrible.
That's what they were valued at.
That's overpayment.
You outbid yourself
Right.
20 times.
Right.
And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, 3.5, okay, they had no wrestlers.
No.
It was a video library.
Yeah.
By the way, the video library barely cracked 1 million according to
Right.
most business people. And you had a brand that, yes, there was still a slight demand for, but had no wrestlers
None of them were under contract.
at $3.5 million. And by the way, if Vince didn't want to pay, by the way, I don't blame Vince as a businessman not want to pay $3.5 million for something that had no value.
Here's the thing: if I was Vince, would I have paid $5 million for it? Sure.
Yeah.
Because then the payoff is that's the 4th brand you can use.
True.
It's a well-liked
Yeah.
brand. You got the names of like Jonathan Gresham and those people out there. That's
Yeah.
another world you can play with.
Yeah.
But what was it? 35, 40 million that he paid?
$40 million of Tony's own money. So he didn't even have Dad write the check. He spent his own money. Vince has had one rule since the day he bought the company from his daddy. Never spend your own money. And you know what? He's been doing pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But no, so you outbid yourself. And again, this article said $3.5 million. Maybe other articles had it slightly higher, but there's no way that it cracked $8 million.
It wasn't even worth $7.
No. 6 might have been the highest.
And I think originally Vince did bid $2 million on it before they closed their doors. So that's why he was still in the hunt for a long time.
Well, but they still had a roster at that point, so maybe
Right.
$2 million was a bit much.
Right.
But anyway, so again, years and years of guilt built up over however old Tony. Can you get Tony's age for me? Because he said 42 last week. Can I get Tony Khan's actual age? But Jesse, you've been outbid now for Sami Zayn and Kevin Steen, 2 guys who should be in AEW right now.
Probably.
Should be in AEW.
I agree.
We're the kings of what they did.
Right.
And by the way, everyone says Sammy's not doing nothing. They're blah, blah, blah. They'd be doing the same thing in AEW.
Actually, they'd be worse off positions.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that the way that Kevin makes it seem like he's unhappy at work and the way that Sammy, they're just good at what they do. They were never displeased with what they were doing.
Right.
Kevin Owens was just, by the way, if you actually go to a WWE event, Kevin, when the lights are off and we're on commercial, Kevin's joking around with the people.
Yeah, I know.
Not necessarily the fans, but he's screwing with fans using the production people.
Right.
Kevin doesn't give a shit.
Right.
Kevin's just really good that when the cameras are on, he makes you think he's just over this shit.
Right.
Because he's supposed to be.
Right.
Which, by the way, the lie detector thing was some of the funniest shit.
That was so great.
That was some of the funniest shit. But back to this. They finally did it. Jesse?
You want to know how old he is? He was born in 82. He's 39.
Okay, so he's not even 40.
Born in 1982.
He's born in 1982.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he'll be 40 by the end of the year.
Man, Chad, you are the worst dad ever.
That's right. Jesse?
Like he has to be.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Jesse, they did it. It was not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little off, but they debuted our boy Hook on Dynamite.
It was fun.
It was a good time.
It was fun.
I do like how Hook just totally took the whole Danhausen thing and said, fuck you.
Well, what I really love about this whole Danhausen thing is, by the way, it got the loudest pop when Danhausen finally challenged into a match.
Yeah.
By the way, this is when things naturally get over. Why? Most of the time, well, sometimes WWE does too much too quick with that.
Yeah.
But they will do something with it.
Yeah.
This is clearly over with that fan base. Will we get Hookhausen? Don't know. I don't trust that guy running the company to do it. But Hookhausen works. If you want a broader audience, Hookhausen works.
Yep.
We'll see. I really like Hook because then he kind of spoke for the first time a little bit on Rampage because Danhausen destroyed his potato chips. So for those who don't know why that was so funny, to those who've been following the story, so one of the first ways Danhausen tried to introduce himself on his vlog, by the way, which is a kayfabe vlog, which is great, is he actually offered him a big bag of Lay's potato chips, but
Yeah.
Hook wouldn't take it at the time.
No.
And so later on, he saw Hook with Lay's potato chips, and he was, Danhausen was offended.
Yes.
And so now that he's been angry with him that he can't curse
But
him,
here's the deal.
he ripped his bag of potato chips.
Well, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. Everyone's like, oh, Zach, all you want is serious wrestling. Orange Cassidy, he sucked, blah, blah. No, Danhausen has never not stopped being Danhausen.
Right.
You tried to make Orange Cassidy serious, and then, to quote Jesse, put him right back in the mid-card.
I mean, right back to the mid-card.
Danhausen has been a joke from day one. He's a good joke.
Right.
He's a funny joke.
Right.
We have Jesse's top 5 clowns today. I can't wait for that.
Yes.
We already know number 1, but hey, it's always fun to talk about number 1.
Right.
But anyway, Hook and Danhausen first for Hook. I don't know why, but I want to see it.
I know.
It's going to work.
It's going to work. I mean, Hook's clearly going to win.
Yes.
But it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's going to be funny. It's going to be fun. It's going to work. And then, like I said, it should lead to Hookhausen. That is the natural progression of this story. So, by the way, it doesn't even hurt Hook
No.
to do Hookhausen.
No, it doesn't.
It'll actually elevate him because it's
Danhausen's over his shit.
right, and it'll also like elevate Hook because it's just.
Leroy,
it'll be
how
one
much
those
of
weird
Danhausen
things.
have you actually seen?
Not a lot.
You gotta
I need
look
to
up
see
anything you
more.
can on Danhausen. His Ring of Honor shit was some of the best comedy shit you'll ever see.
Pick a day where
Has,
after you've come home with the kids.
The kids will love Danhausen.
And like say you're kind of bored, get on YouTube.
Just type in Danhausen.
Type in Danhausen best ROH moments.
Has he worked with Darren?
I think so.
I think Darren and Danhausen have actually worked together.
Had a few matches together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Danhausen.
Oh my God! It's great shit.
Danhausen, and by the way, the tattoo fits his gimmick so well.
Yes, it does.
The chest tattoo, it fits everything so well.
Actually, Darren has a very famous moment with Danhausen.
He does, yeah.
Well, he got cursed.
So look at
because we have Darren next week, don't we?
Oh,
I think that's
hopefully yes.
Okay, that's the second match they had together. We'll have to ask Darren himself.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh my, it's so funny. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I love Danhausen.
But here's the thing. Even Jim.
By the way, Orange Cassidy could be a serious character.
Oh yeah.
If they would just let him be one.
Exactly. But here's the deal. You know what's really funny to me? Even Jim and Brian get a kick out of Danhausen.
He's great.
Because someone sent them cameos of Danhausen. Man. Jim and Brian enjoy Danhausen, but again, Jim just kind of accepts this is what the guy's doing.
Right.
But Danhausen isn't being pushed to the moon. Danhausen is just where Danhausen is supposed to be.
I think he was a Ring of Honor television champion.
Yeah.
But that once again, when ROH did that, the story was perfect for it. And it was such good fun.
Yeah. When he got it, it was arguably the best pop they had all show.
And it was such good fun. Mm-hmm. Like, because as a champion, because he was supposed to be this chicken shit heel, but he's so funny you couldn't help but cheer him.
It was so great. He was supposed to be a guy that you were supposed to hate. And and by the way, through no fault of anyone, no one's at fault for this. It was so good you had to love it.
It was just so good.
It was so good you had to enjoy it.
Oh, my God, it was so good.
I didn't know what else to do. Now we get to Jesse's favorite thing in the world.
Over there.
Jesse could not hate more people in this segment if he tried. This segment involving Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti, Scorpio Sky, I'm not done, Ethan Page, Dan Lambert, and at some point, I don't know why, we just added Paige Van Zandt because apparently we needed some ass. I don't know what this was all about. But there is now, because apparently...
You want to talk about a drop-off of a career.
I can't get a better piece of ass than that.
I mean, Paige Van Zandt...
Well, there wasn't much ass in the segment. It was no offense to Ty, but that's not...
I mean, there was ass, but it wasn't in a good way.
No, this was ass.
First of all, Paige...
how much, Jesse, I forget because I actually sped through this on my watch through. How much did Sammy get out before Dan interrupted him? How much did Sammy actually get out?
He actually got at least a 2 or 3 minute promo out.
Okay, all right.
I can't believe
before Jesse goes on, Leroy.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes.
So apparently, in the eyes of Tony Khan, I have the Hardy Boys, the Hardys. I'm sorry, that's what they're going by. They're going to be in tables matches, and I'm going to continue to put the TNT title in ladder matches for no goddamn reason whatsoever. There's no reason why we're having a ladder match for the TNT title, but we're having a ladder match for the TNT title. Yes, again. Well, we don't know why, but we're just going to do it.
Well, first of all, I'm just happy they got rid of the second belt finally.
Oh God, doing that was, dude. Even UFC doesn't make them carry around 2 belts. Maybe they'll let them hold 2 belts in the moment to hype the fight.
Right.
But they're not going to fucking make you do this in the next fight.
Right.
Oh, by the way, also, this is weird. Even for them, it's weird. So not only are we about to have a ladder match for the TNT title, again, no real reason, but we're going to have it. Maybe because his name is Scorpio Sky. He has to fly for something. I don't fucking know. Also, for some strange reason,
he's a babyface somehow now.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah. That's how much Sammy Guevara is hated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Scorpio Sky's a babyface.
But here's the strange thing: out of nowhere, for no apparent reason, for literally no godforsaken logic, after announcing the ladder match for the championship that's involved in this feud, we're gonna have a mixed tag match. We don't know why. Ken. This week, Mr. Kenny Defiance will give you a free plug. Well, you know why? No, we don't.
Kenny, we don't know why.
Kenny, we don't know why. We love you, sir, but we don't know why.
By the way, also find Kenny on TikTok. He's been doing some wonderful
his TikTok is great.
He's really wonderful videos and some lives.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. But yeah, so...
My brain is hurting a little bit
hold on. No, hold on.
It's going to get worse?
Hold on. This might blow your brain.
Oh, my God.
The match will happen at an undisclosed time. They don't even know when they're going to have this. They just are announcing shit for the sake of getting it into the ether.
Because Paige Van Zandt hasn't finished training.
Yeah, because she's not ready. At least WWE's good at hiding when people aren't ready. See NXT 2.0.
Right.
It's still good, even though half those people are not ready. We got to talk about them this week because Triple H had some comments that I'd like your boys' opinions on.
Yeah.
But before we get that, the roles. Okay.
Being married is hard, isn't it?
Yeah. By the way.
Thank God I'm not married.
That's me soon. Anyway.
Yeah, but your father-in-law doesn't own a pro wrestling company that you used to wrestle in.
That's fair.
So being married must be very difficult.
Jesse, I am going to read this last paragraph from Bleacher Report word for word. May I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The roles were definitely flipped here, with Guevara and Conti embracing heel personas while Lambert and company were clearly the baby faces. It'll be interesting to see how this dynamic develops in the coming weeks. The headphones have come off, folks.
To be safe.
I know.
He's preparing.
This is stupid. This is stupid. This is stupid. This is why Vince McMahon is a genius. This is why Jim Cornette deserves respect as a booker for most of his career. This is why Paul Heyman deserves respect as a booker. Because these two fucking imbeciles, and for once I'm not actually talking about Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Yeah, it's weird. Ethan Page might actually be doing some of the best heel work.
But he's getting cheered.
I know, it's so weird.
Because I get why the AEW fans don't like Sammy. This is so... What are you doing?
Yeah.
What? First of all, dude. Yes, we don't know what happened between you and that fiance. But the problem is that you made public.
Yep.
You had the vlog.
Yep.
By the way, that's what got you over in the first place was the vlog. I like the Sammy vlog.
Yeah.
Okay? And you proposed to her on national television, and everyone's like, man, good, wholesome kid. Good for you, Sammy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a couple, like 4 months into their engagement, no one knows when the wedding is, but it's not our place to know.
Nope.
But we do start seeing you post photos getting real close to Ty Conti.
And that was not a friend thing. That was...
We're watching the vlog, and we're like, bro, he's like gripping ass. What is he doing? And then all of a sudden, you two are together, and you're talking about the breakup of your engagement. You know what? That's between you three.
Yeah.
Right?
We even said on the show, that's not our business.
Here was the fucking problem came in. You guys decided to flaunt that.
Yep.
You start coming out together. You start making out during shows. What the fuck are you doing? I don't want to hear. Don't ask me about my personal
Brian
life.
Last has watched a lot of wrestling. You know that?
Yeah.
When he says that was the most over-the-top kiss in wrestling history.
It was horrible.
That's saying something.
It was because it's like you've been purposely flaunting
No one
this shit
kisses
for a while.
like that. I don't give a damn who you are.
No.
That is something that is like... That's like a cartoon animator didn't know how to animate the kissing. That's what that is.
You put your own relationship out there.
Yep.
You did it. I don't want to hear don't talk about our personal relationship when you put it out there.
Yeah, nope. Sorry, bro.
Now that you put it out to the public, it's for public consumption.
It's fair game,
Jordan
dude.
Grace posts all the time on Twitter and Facebook. You know what she doesn't talk about very often?
Her relationship
and
with John.
Jonathan.
And they're perfectly fine, according
And
to
they're
our reports.
a beautiful couple.
Yes.
I kind of want to fight him for her, but and I will get my ass whooped. But they're a beautiful couple.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Oh, by the way, I love Jonathan Gresham.
Jonathan's great.
Jonathan's excellent.
Have you ever reached out to him? We should get him on the show.
I have reached out, and I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Jesse, folks, for those of you that don't know, he's got a lot of feelers out there.
I'm also going to start this week. Will actually be the start. So watch the invites and the YouTube for the schedules because I'm actually going to post when I'm going to go live and stuff.
Okay, sweet.
So that starts this week finally.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
But you put this out into the ether.
Yep.
And so that fan base is just like I don't even want to see you now.
Yeah.
And you know what? No wrestling fan base would want to see you at this point because we were trying to respect your privacy, but clearly you don't give a shit. You want to put it out there.
I tell people all the time, I'm very open about my quote unquote private life because I don't care, but that's my personality. So when people comment on it, it's like, well, I did technically say something, so it's not on me.
When it comes to you and Allison, well, first of all, she's kind of a part of this family anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
she's a big part of this family.
She gives us a lot of editing notes.
Oh yeah, and
And booking suggestions.
Right. And so
That was on you.
And
I
so
know.
she's such a part of this team, even though people don't see her every day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But you guys, what we don't put out there is like, it's not like we put out there like, so how was the doggy last night? You know what I mean?
No,
like,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's basically what Ty and Sammy are doing.
Yeah.
Openly talk about their sex life, but then you don't want to get critiqued. But all you do is put it out there.
And you know what's weird, Jesse? I think her ego has come back.
It's clearly.
Her ego's right back where
Good
it
job,
was.
Sammy. That woman came to AEW, humbled herself, worked her ass off, got herself over as a babyface. I have loved Ty Conti. Now I'm like, this is the person that got herself cut from NXT.
Yep.
This is the person.
Yep.
Because she could not humble herself and get better. All right. Good luck, Tony.
Let me make one
This
thing.
is what happens when you let the inmates run the asylum.
Let me
This
make
is what
one
happens.
thing very clear.
So true.
Ty Conti wants
You're good now.
Yeah. Let me make this very clear. If Roman Reigns all of a sudden gets an ego and demands something, it's happening because he's Roman fucking
Oh,
Reigns.
he's Roman motherfucking Reigns.
But Ty Conti, you don't have pull in this company. How the fuck you gonna have pull anywhere else? Hell, if I was an indie promoter, I'd be like, sweetie, I really don't need you tonight. Right. I really don't. The tickets are sold.
And I like Ty Conti. I have.
I know you have.
Yeah.
So, like, to see this de-evolution the last 2 months with these two,
Yeah.
I'm like, man, fuck.
And it's not even de-evolution to become heels. It's go home heat.
Right.
They have more go home heat than
And by
Brandi
the way,
could have
for
ever
those
wanted.
saying it doesn't exist, you're stupid. Go home heat exists.
Oh yeah.
Go home heat is basically like, I don't need to see you because now this is irritating.
Before you guys came along and became the Smarks of the world, it was called X-Pac heat.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing against Sean, but Sean had a lot of that for a while.
He deserved it though.
Well, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that's true.
He didn't want to change, but he wanted to be a main eventer. And then it got out there because then he started fucking integrating into his promos. And then it also got out there how he was treating China. And then people were like, go, just go the fuck away.
Yeah. And now we get to, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Britsburg. We had Britt Baker. We're in the only town that may still cheer that loud for her now that she's basically been booked into a fucking corner. But
She'll still get cheered, though.
not as loud as when she was champ, but let's be honest, they forgot she was champ.
Yeah, they did.
She did defeat her. This was actually fairly solid. Didn't hate it. Okay, first of all, Najee Harris I get. Pat Fryermuth, nothing against you, bro, but you're the only Steeler that was available on a fucking Wednesday night.
You know what, though? In that city, because he actually is a big deal, though.
That is true. Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, they're not going to ask fucking Ben Roethlisberger. I hope not.
Well, Ben,
he's retired.
Ben went home. Ben,
stay home.
yeah. Ben, please stay home.
Man, I was happy when he retired.
Right?
You're too late.
2 years too late.
4 years too late. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Forget the number. And then, for some strange reason, I need to set the stage here because this is like we have to catch Leroy up a little bit because Leroy has a hard time seeing this because it is hard when you don't have Hulu Live. So Leroy,
He also just
I just
chooses
don't have
not to
cable
watch.
and I'm cheap.
so Matt Hardy,
chooses not to watch
yeah,
AEW,
so Matt
which is
Hardy,
smart.
and yes, Matt Hardy is a part of this. Matt Hardy comes to AEW. Matt Hardy is broken Matt Hardy. It doesn't seem to work out because let's be honest, they didn't know how to use it and they wouldn't let Matt do his thing. So that
Boy,
that
that
happened.
sounds familiar.
Well, yeah, no, hang on. So then Matt Hardy has to become a businessman.
Right.
Matt Hardy has to take on arguably one of the most talented young black teams in all of professional wrestling and turn them into basically nothing. Boy, that sounds like something.
Boy, that didn't work out
yeah,
either.
no.
Yep.
Leroy, pay attention to Jesse because there's gonna be a theme going
Right.
here. Then AEW signs a certain fiance of a big star over in WWE.
Boy, that sounds familiar.
Thank you.
Yep.
And they have nothing to do with him.
Boy, that sounds so familiar.
So they give him a manager. They change the manager. They change the manager again. And then they apparently decide that he's going to, get booked out to a guy that he should have beaten in his own home country. And
Man, that sounds familiar.
and
Yep.
then we don't know what to do with both Matt Hardy and this said former fiance. So now they're not a tag team, they're business partners who apparently hold every single conference not only on camera with a cameraman in the back,
But backstage on stairs.
but in the stairwell.
Which, man, it's starting to
So
sound real
then,
familiar.
WWE screws up Jeff like I said, could have been a little more professional towards the
I
end.
agree.
But he does deserve to be a little pissy about this because WWE screwed this up.
Screwed the pooch
Yep,
on that.
yep. So now we have Jeff Hardy back with Matt. They're legendary, but we're not gonna somehow break Matt away like a wrestling storyline, like actually surprisingly Vince does. We're just gonna put the Hardy Boys together. They're back. They're together. We don't know why. They're just together.
Damn, that sounds familiar.
So then,
Yeah.
Matt Hardy must break off this apparently wonderful engagement that he's been having in the stairwell. Matt Hardy is now going to go into the arena, because, with Jeff.
Which is odd.
Jeff is now dancing without actually being with anything, but hey.
He's dancing before helping people.
Exactly.
Should I help my brother? No.
Yeah, no. So then,
I would do the same thing.
So
if
then,
you're dancing.
because our man, we will now use his name, Andre El Idolo. Or as Jim would say, Oli Olio. Andrade now has the upper hand over Andrade now has the upper hand over the Hardys because he's got his manager who's the only one that can apparently speak proper English for him. He's got Isaiah Cassidy. He's got the other guy in Private Party, who, by the way, they forgot the name of. Not joking, they actually just totally forgot. And he's also got another tag team in there.
Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah, the Butcher and the Blade are part of this.
And the Bunny.
So now they're outnumbered. So now Sting and Darby Allin show up. We don't know why. They're just there. They help out the Hardys because, Sting's old. Hardys are old. They must know each other. Logically. Never worked in the same company together at the same time, but logically they know each other.
Right.
Because they're veterans. I'm not done. I'm not done.
True.
And now we take the young man who is aging by the minute because he just won't get paid for the stupid shit he does.
Right.
One of Jesse's favorite pillars of wrestling, who's now going to be done in 2.5 years. Who is now having a coffin match against Andre El Idolo. That's how we got here.
Yeah.
Huh?
Thank you. That's how we got here.
That's
Jesse, did I miss anything? Mark Quinn, I apologize.
This is as WWE booking as I've ever
This
seen
is
in
the
my
most
fucking
WWE
life.
thing they've ever done.
None of it fucking makes sense.
Nope, not a thing.
You know what I call that? I call that a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Because, whoa.
By the way, that was funny.
By the way, even though you added Sting and Darby Allin, you're still outnumbered by the heels.
By the way, like I said,
you're still outnumbered by the heels.
You didn't even remember to mention that Allie's in this group.
Oh yeah, by the way, the Bunny's still here.
Well, that comes with the Butcher and the Blade, I thought.
Not normally. That's the weird part. They're normally just by themselves. She's in the women's division as the Bunny.
Right. She's supposed. Wait. Speaking of, what happened? What happened to somebody's favorite Penelope? She was in this group.
She was here.
She's gone now.
She was in this too.
She's just not.
I'm not kidding.
Old Pit Stop is
Pit
gone?
Stop was in there. No. She's not on anymore. She was just here for 1 week. We don't remember why.
She was there for like 2-3 weeks. And she hasn't been back.
Old Pit Stop is gone. Oh shit.
She stopped for a pit stop,
right?
And then she got out of the pit.
Right.
But yes,
I was watching this main event, and I literally said, "This is the most WWE shit I've ever seen. What are we doing here? What is this?" Well, the match was enjoyable.
Yes, it was.
But at first, I was like,
"I'm over thumbtacks in wrestling, though."
God, thanks to AEW, I can't stand it anymore.
Brody King has less tattoos than they've used thumbtacks in AEW.
Yeah, they do love tax.
It's true.
I don't know.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh, I'm sorry. The manager's name is Jose. I forgot. My apologies. Jose is
Jose, who's not gonna fucking matter in a week.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be anything.
Kind of like a Chavo thing.
No, actually, Chavo luckily got out of this.
You should have just stayed as fucking Charlotte's husband. You would have been better off.
Yeah.
You'd probably be Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
You might have gotten a couple of world title matches.
Yeah.
This is trash.
Yeah.
This is just trash. Your whole run there has been trash.
Oh, well.
Not even Bleacher Report like this. They gave it a C.
Dude, there's no way Nick Khan wouldn't have let him eventually just go work in Mexico when they didn't use him.
Exactly.
Because AAA would have loved to pay the insurance knowing they don't have to pay the salary. Are you kidding?
Insurance is never as much as the salary.
They'd be like, dude, to pay for his insurance is way cheaper than paying his salary. Yeah, well, we'll take that deal,
Lord.
WWE. I enjoyed the match. But I swear to God, as Darby Allin was coming out, because it came out from break after Andrade came out, I literally went, this is the most WWE shit ever. And this fan base acts like it's not. This is so Bruce Pritchard. Because none of the build-up made sense.
No.
None of it. But we're going to have this big-ass
And the worst part
match.
about it is that every time Bruce screwed up, there was no Vince this time to have the production team somehow make you believe it. Because I'll be honest with you. Nothing against the Usos. When they went to Raw, when RK Bro came to SmackDown,
Right.
Yeah.
that was kind of an odd exchange.
It didn't make sense.
I don't know if they were off, but Jimmy just seemed drunk again.
It was.
No,
it just-
I'm sorry, Jimmy, but you've opened yourself up to
Right,
this. You
he
really
really
have.
has, yeah.
But for some reason,
Unfortunately,
But for
yes.
some reason, then we see a video package, and I'm like, that was great. Oh, wait, it wasn't. But they had me.
the video packages usually save WWE because you get to a pay-per-view, you're like, man, this
Puddle
build
of-
is shit.
Jesse, I have 3 points to always make on this. Puddle of Mud,
Yep.
the invasion angle,
Yep.
Oh, God, yeah, that was just brilliant video editing.
and their brilliant song, which technically is about BDSM sex. Which, by the way, Vince hid that really well.
He tried to.
He tried to.
Yeah.
Control is the song.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, listen, the video team for WWE has done a great job for 20 years.
Yeah, they've hit a lot of stupid shit. But there was
because-
nobody to hide this.
Like, especially when they didn't have a lot of competition, because there's a lot of bad builds to matches, including some Mania matches. But the video package, you're like, oh, it wasn't so bad. And then, like, I tell people, like, no, go watch the 4 weeks of horrible television leading up to this.
Well, it's funny, Jesse. We're gonna actually have to, and I hate to do this. We've done it before on the show, but we're gonna have to at some point actually look at actual segments. But there are people that are actually thinking that we're crazy for saying that overall, the Ruthless Aggression era was better top to bottom than the Attitude Era, and I'm like,
Oh, it's not even debatable.
it's not debatable. But you people apparently, once again, are only looking at the Triple H, the Undertaker, and the Rock and Steve Austin stuff, and ignoring the fact that there were thousands of other hours of television.
Let's be very, 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 very clear. I don't even know if I want to do a segment on it. I'm not willing to debate that. Go to Peacock.
Yeah, right.
And just
And watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, try.
It's not even close.
Vince Russo had full control over the rest of the card. He didn't have
Holy-
control over those 4 guys.
Holy shit! The attitude.
Thank
era,
God.
There's like always like when you watch the Raws on there and like between because because back then it was 2 hours, so the hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
There's 45 minutes in between that show that are horse shit.
Absolute trash.
Where you're just like,
Trash.
wow, why did I think this was good? Like it is trash.
Vince McMahon, over the last 20 years, made us actually go back and enjoy on a small child level that hand segment. Live, that was the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
And it was 20 minutes.
It was a 20-minute segment. That is correct.
People forget it was because they took 3 commercial breaks through it.
They did.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
For a hand?
Who had a WrestleMania moment, by the way. But,
He made him- yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That's so lovely. It is.
but anyway, Leroy, the coffin match happened.
It was fun.
It was fun,
It was fine.
but we have no idea why this happened.
Just because.
If they would have just admitted they're a better form of what WWE does and never said they're a pure pro wrestling company,
Yeah.
you know what I would do? I would go, well, you did this better than WWE.
And you know what's funny? WWE constantly has on Corey Graves' script, wins and losses matter in WWE. Okay, they're at least trying to stay in kayfabe. These mofos have no idea what the fuck they're even talking about with wins
No,
and losses
they don't.
meaning something.
By the way, when he says it, it does make you cringe because it doesn't fucking matter.
But Corey's supposed to do that.
I know it's in his script.
Hasn't it been great to have King back though? King has
great.
slipped like perfectly into that
Because
role.
even King knows I'm not reading that line.
No,
Because it has never mattered in this fucking company.
No.
But now I have a question, Jesse, because it happened on Rampage.
Sure.
Because, okay, we all know who I picked as my female of last year. We all know
yes.
what you've sent me on Dark and Dark
Yeah.
Elevation. Jesse, I have a question for you.
What the fuck is the baddie section?
No, what's happening to just anything involving Jade Cargill? You want to talk about regression?
Yeah.
This is so bad.
This is ass.
What? And not even the kind of
Not
ass
even
that was
good
good in
ass.
that
Like,
section.
this is not even ass I would consider eating.
No,
ass. Like,
this
this is just ass. Like, so first of all, talk about a horseshit build.
I can't defend it.
Like, this is just
But
horrible.
hold on. Jesse can defend me for 5 seconds because people are laughing at me. No. Remember. I said
last year,
Last
and the year
year,
before, she was great.
yes.
Yeah.
Her build up has been great. Since she's been TBS champion, has been horrible.
The alley moment was when it finally became clear.
Right.
Well, she hasn't lost.
It's not about that. It's that
But
even
I've
though
seen
she's
some
winning,
of this
the
stuff.
matches don't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So the alley thing was the first thing where I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. Because I don't know how the fuck you have a bad match with
But you
that
gave
woman.
her a chance because it was a
Right,
one-off
right,
at the time.
right.
But the last, oh my
The
God.
Maria Shafir thing. Oh my God. Oh, please, just I would have taken Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb for half an hour than that shit. And by the way, we are getting Serena and Hikaru this Wednesday. It should be great.
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic.
But what?
Wait, hold on, Justin. You mean they're actually gonna let Hikaru just wrestle?
I know.
Hopefully.
You know what? That woman has a heart of gold and an ass of gold. And
You bounce a quarter off that thing.
I mean, I could bounce my
What's the
face
quarter?
off of it.
What's the quarter called in yen?
Yeah, I don't know, but I would bounce a yen off of it.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing, man. I have not seen a women's match this bad since the Divas era. That's how fucking bad it was. Like
This was a Divas era match.
like it was
fucking move for move. It was.
it was sloppy. It was uncoordinated.
Yeah.
Mr. Aaron Bulls McMahon. Hey guys, listen, I'm just tired of being right. So
Yes.
what did I say when they introduced the baddie section, Zach? So they introduced this baddie section.
You thought
now.
this was the stupidest shit on the face of the earth.
Because the first week, not only were there like really hot women there, but she also had a couple men in there, like a bigger guys, almost like look like me and you and shit.
It was fun.
And I thought, that's fun, that's positive, I like that, that's cool. They scrapped that. That's gone.
Yeah, no, that's
gone.
done.
That's done. Now it's
Hold on, wait. I thought WWE was the only one that cared about the image.
yeah, apparently not. Apparently fucking not. Because Jay Cargill, like I said, that first week I was like, well, you know, because remember, her, by the way, her two who are supposed to be nemesis weren't there. There was some really hot looking women and then like a couple of guys in there. I think one of them was gay, but it was beautiful. I'm like, you know what? I like this. Even for a heel, I like this. This is cool. This is beautiful. And then the next week, it was horseshit. Like Red Velvet, who she's been feuding with since she arrived on their main roster, was there. I'm like, why?
And now they're basically a faction.
Kiera Hogan was there. I'm like, she hated her too. Why?
Yeah.
We don't get a reason why.
No.
And then even Jim Ross.
Is Bruce actually booking this somehow?
Osmosis. He's doing
He's
an
making
osmosis.
2 checks somehow. We just don't know.
I don't know.
Bruce, hey, Vince, fire Bruce, not just because you should, but because he's probably fleecing
I am
you.
currently holding the book of the great Jim Ross.
Under the black hat.
Under the black hat. This man was on television last week. Not this past week, but the week before.
Yeah.
When those two women were out there. And literally, I think legitimately, my masked commentator guy, I always forget his name, I'm sorry.
Excalibur.
Thank
Excalibur.
you. He always, sometimes he'll legitimately ask a question because he's probably going through his paperwork looking confused. He's like, wait, why
They've
is that
actually
about
sold him up the river, and by the way, he used to be is he still an owner of PWG?
I think so, partially.
Partial owner.
I think it's a smaller.
He's the
percentage
only
now.
guy that they kind of got rid of was Joey Ryan. Was he the only guy that really bought out? Okay.
Well, yeah, he had to go.
Well, yeah,
But,
yeah.
But yeah,
Thank God he
Right.
has stayed gone.
Thank God.
Holy
but
crap.
it's he legitimately goes, wait, I don't understand why Red Velvet's here. She was feuding with Red Velvet like a month
And
ago.
Jim Ross
Jim Ross legitimately sounded like he looked at him and went, we don't know.
Jim Ross needs to Jim Ross. Jim, I don't know if you've ever thought about this. If you have some free time, go to LA, go to the Laugh Factory and ask for an hour. You might actually be great at stand-up. Your timing is impeccable, sir.
And then on this show,
oh yeah, by the way, just to promote the Forbidden Door, but with no build-up, and by the way, you gave this match away for free. Cole versus Ishii.
oh, I'll get to that.
We just gave that away, but
I'll get to that in a minute.
But, you're talking about that lovely Under the Black
Yeah.
Hat with Ross. I have a Drew McIntyre story, and Zach has what is it? The
Incomparable.
Incomparable.
The Bella Twins.
Okay.
Which, by the way, they're arguably the Bucks of the female world because, let's be honest.
There's no inarguably.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But
they made money despite not.
It's not incomparable in that sense. It's just comparable.
Yes.
But what we do have
Sad part is they're not as insufferable as the Bucks.
Which is weird to say.
Well, remember, they admitted they were entertainers.
Yeah, because they're not good wrestlers. Well, Nikki got better. But
there we go.
Bree could go a little
But
bit.
we got these lovely things, and then I got a Funko Otis with the Money in the Bank. And I would like to thank our friends.
Cal, yeah.
At the Friends of the Squared Circle for dropping that out for us for decoration for the podcast and 3 lovely books that we will pass around.
Also check them
to
out
enjoy.
on Facebook.
Well, I'm also buying Under the Black Hat soon. So
Yeah, so
I'll
it's
already
like,
have it, yeah.
you know, I thank you, Cal, for he asked me, he said, hey, I got something for you, and then boom, we got that. So thank you. I'm going to put a little shout out for him.
Thank you to Cal, who's not only been on our show, but like we said, has their own podcast now. Very good.
But definitely,
I'm hoping to actually be a guest on it soon.
Same.
Yeah, it's very good. I like what he's doing over there.
He'll probably have all of us on there. But yeah, if you're on Facebook, check them out. Friends of the Squared Circle.
Yeah. But anyway, so now back to this. Jesse, they just gave you Ishii for free on a Friday night.
See, that I don't care about too much. Here's why. Because you're doing an integration. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing an integration, that's fine. Because, first of all, is it a pay-per-view caliber match? Sure.
Well, Ishii in the States alone is.
Of course, I agree. But in this case, this is about promoting their pay-per-view with New Japan and the Owen Hart tournament. I have no problem with you putting it on free TV at that point.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're hoping that's a big selling point, maybe take some viewers from SmackDown, which they clearly didn't fucking do.
No. By the way, Leroy, do you remember, Jesse, I texted you about this.
Okay.
Do you remember the week that, or actually, I think it was not this past week, but 2 weeks ago. Do you remember that horrible ending to Dynamite where they brought in the former basketball player?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that Tony Khan had announced before the show that it's official? TBS has allowed us to overrun as long as we need. The numbers are in. They went 2 minutes over the hour.
Oh, my God.
120 seconds. Woo. That was their overrun time.
Raw used to literally
go 7 minutes over.
At least go to 10 minutes over.
Yeah. NXT's doing it now, too. But here's the deal. Tony, you promoted this. You made it a big deal. You tweeted. I'm pretty sure 2 minutes was the intro to freaking Big Bang Theory.
Well, here's
that's about it.
You want to know what the show was after it was over?
What's that?
American Dad.
Yeah.
So all we did was miss the intro.
All we did was miss Good Morning USA.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that it's going to be a wonderful
day.
That's all we missed. That's all we missed saluting the flag at half-mast. That's all we missed.
And you know what? I'm quite upset about that.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
American Dad.
I love my American Dad.
By the way, the next match. So now we're at the first match. That was Cole versus Ishii. Cole beat Ishii.
Yeah.
Jay White finally is back.
He does not. They don't deserve him.
Jesse, at this point, Jay White's gracing them with his presence.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's right. Yes.
They don't deserve Jay White.
The King is like, I have 30 seconds on my schedule.
The King literally looked like he looked at Obara like, thank you for this large bonus because they don't deserve me here. Like, these people are a waste of my fucking time.
Royalty decided to come down from the throne. That's what this was.
Like he was like, you know what? Thank you, New Japan, for the $2 million bonus for showing up.
Yeah,
I'll do the little preview. I'll do the little promo. You know, it's cool. I'm a big fucking deal.
Yeah,
like I get it, New Japan. I love you. All right. But he really didn't want to be there.
No.
He was like, to be honest, I'd rather be in L.A. trying to whoop Tanahashi's ass for the 5th time.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm here, but it is what it is.
I'll take the money.
I'll take the money.
After that, Leroy, Lance Archer wrestled. And apparently Serpentico's still a thing.
I didn't know Serpentico was still there.
I thought his contract
expired.
This lasted 33 seconds.
Yeah, Lance Archer fucked him up fairly quickly.
So hold on. So now we're back to Lance Archer just fucking people up. Like, Lance Archer has had one storyline. We've just had 17 breaks in the middle of it.
You know the oddest thing to me about Lance Archer?
So 33 seconds?
33 seconds.
He
Yeah,
hasn't
time
even-
to cuddle.
This is only the first. This is the first time he's been on AEW TV in a month and a half.
Yep. Since the Texas Death Match. That wasn't a Texas Death Match.
Right.
For the third time.
Yeah, for like the fifth fucking time. But he also hasn't been back on New Japan very often either. Like, he hasn't been on Strong very often.
Something tells me that injury was a little bit more than people think. Can't imagine why it would have
Maybe
been,
it was.
Lance. You're only 6'8".
Such a stupid fucking thing to do.
Oh, God.
Like,
You know what? You know what's funny? With all the injuries that have been happening recently, whether they've been real or kayfabe, it's weird. I'm saying this on any wrestling site that I can get on right now, and people are actually starting to get it.
Surprising.
Vince might slow your ass down, but you can wrestle for 20 years.
right.
Vince might say, I'm going to take away some of the stuff that got you to where you're at. I'm going to kind of repackage, reinvent, but you wrestle for 20 fucking years.
Going to WWE saved AJ Styles' career. He doesn't just say
And he knows that.
because he just knows it.
He said it many times.
Because he's like the changing of the style has allowed me to stay healthier.
He was hurt a lot in TNA.
Yeah.
People don't realize.
Yeah, he was.
There was a point, Jesse, in the latter half of TNA, and it wasn't just bad booking by Dixie and Vince because she didn't tell Spike that he was there. Love that story. But anyway, there were points where you would go months,
Right.
and it would be the Aces and Eights guys. It would be the X division. It would be the tag team division, and it'd be the knockouts. And you would go months, and you'd be like, "Does AJ even still work here?"
Right.
And Mike Tenay or Josh Matthews would mention AJ Styles.
Right.
He would get dropped occasionally. Well, Ric Flair is still being dropped by WWE, so that don't mean shit.
No, it doesn't.
Even though I wouldn't blame them if they stopped talking about Ric Flair.
It would be nice if they did every now and then.
Yeah, you know. But anyway, you would go months. I think there might have been an actual full year. He wasn't on the show.
Yeah.
Because he was always, and by the way, he wasn't taking indie bookings that much. He was
Yeah.
all Impact, and oddly enough, AJ Styles is only, I think now since the last time we were on the show, he's only 40 some matches from wrestling more in WWE than he ever did for the company he built.
Right.
Yep.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I know.
And actually, if you combine the indie dates with the New Japan dates, I think he's wrestled more outside of Impact than he ever did in Impact.
That guy has wrestled a lot. But yeah, working for WWE saved his career. Because what's also nice is they go, especially for the older guys, you don't have to work a fucking Saturday house show. You know, unless it's a big one like at Madison Square
Oh,
Garden or
yeah.
something. But otherwise, no, go home. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal.
Yeah. And also, like we saw with Finn at the Royal Rumble. You don't want to be in the Rumble? You want to go home? Go for it.
I have to kill this notion. Finn is going to be fine, people. Finn is going to be fine.
Okay, that's the Kushida argument again. New Japan wasn't doing anything else with him. He'd peaked in New Japan.
Finn is going to. Finn is the. When you are a first ever in WWE, eventually they come back around to you.
Yeah.
Finn is going to be okay.
And by the way, Finn, as Jesse has told me off mic before, Finn didn't have a problem doing jobs for Gato.
No.
So when you're trying to build a guy like Theory, you found the perfect transition guy.
Really did.
Here's the thing. The people get mad.
Oh, Allison was pissed.
Well, yes. Well, her
look,
man, yes.
We know why.
Yes.
There were other reasons.
For personal reasons, she is upset. But everybody's like, oh, Vince doesn't push young talent.
Finn's like
then
40.
They push and they give Theory the belt.
Yeah.
And they're mad.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's the oldest joke in wrestling that WWE won't push talent, but as soon as they do, you hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they are the example of you can't please a wrestling fan.
Right.
I mean, like that's what Austin Theory is. Austin Theory is what Sammy Guevara should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Austin Theory is a snot-nosed punk-ass heel that because of how he looks, a lot of people think that they can beat him up,
right.
which is what he's supposed to be.
Right.
And they have two great younger talent with two good
and not
titles.
to mention the fact,
Theory and Ricochet.
And not to mention the fact, I said this
it.
months ago. Finn's getting more TV time than some of their main eventers.
Right.
Yeah.
How the hell is he getting buried?
I don't.
Well, but Sammy said it right after WrestleMania or before WrestleMania. If you're not winning the title, you're in catering and they hate you. There's no in between.
I really do keep saying Roman. I've always said Roman Reigns is really the last Vince mistake, because really think about it. Before Roman, who was the it was Seth was one of the first young champions he pushed in a while. Seth is not a Roman guy. Or Seth is not really a Vince guy.
No.
But guess what? He's a young talent who was he was ahead of, to Vince, he was ahead of Roman and Dean's development at that point.
Yeah.
Because technically, apparently, Vince was higher on Dean
Yeah.
than even Roman. So,
Well, but Dean even said in his book he doesn't have a bad relationship with Vince.
Right.
He never has.
He was really high on Dean. Like he was.
He hates Funky Love, but don't we all?
Right. Understandable.
Yes.
But it's one of those things where Roman really was the last mistake of he's the guy, guys. I love him. He's the guy, but he shouldn't have been. Even Roman admitted during the evil thing, he always told Vince, I work better as a heel anyway.
Well, but the whole family even said he's basically a dick.
Yeah, they were like, to be honest, he's a dickhead. We love him, but he's a dickhead.
Yeah.
Oh, so you watched Evil, huh? Have you finished that?
I haven't finished it.
I haven't finished it, but I saw the Roman episode. Oh, by the way,
I have.
it's interesting that you mentioned pushing young talent, Leroy, because we had one more match, which was the third match out of the 4 because the main event was that horrible TBS Championship match on Rampage. Young talent, young up-and-coming talent, Daniel Garcia got beat by Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, but you can see this from fucking 5 football fields away.
You could see this from the Bronx in Pittsburgh.
Right. I could see it coming from Duluth to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He was going to whoop Daniel Garcia's ass. They got to get Daniel Garcia away from JAS. They just have. I used to think the same thing about Sammy, but then Sammy started to make his own mistakes.
Yeah, Daniel, that's the thing. Daniel's done nothing for us to hate him.
No.
He's done nothing.
You got to get him away from Jericho, though.
He's done jack shit for us to get mad at.
I think Jericho believes he's almost like Shawn Michaels as far as helping young talent. But Jericho, you just don't have the same effect.
Yeah, Chris, this is bad. It's all bad.
Anytime he's around young talent. By the way, speaking of guys who apparently just enjoy collecting a paycheck, how's it going, Jack Hager? Yeah, I fucked up his name on purpose.
I know.
Yep.
I thought this is where you wanted to be because you could never get your serious side out. All I've seen you do since you got your ass whooped by Mox is be Jericho's bitch boy. Is this it? Hope the check's good.
You're about as serious as the comic version of the Riddler was as an actual villain.
That over-aggressive blonde wife of yours must be real disappointed. Mm-hmm. Like, this is it? All right, bro. All right. It's your career, but if this is it. By the way, has not had another Bellator fight in, I think, 8 months. So, yeah, is this it?
What a check collecting. But Jesse, the only people that are check collecting are in WWE catering.
Oh, yeah. How many people are in that?
There's a lot of people in AEW catering.
There's 150 people in the AEW catering. Funny enough, even though it was borderline getting too much, although once again, Ron Killings is a master of saving it.
Oh, sure.
It was borderline cringy, but at least WWE put talent on the show. Right. I'm not defending the segment. That's not what I'm doing.
Oh, we're talking about the wedding?
The double wedding.
I thought that shit was hilarious.
Oh, I thought it was great. It wasn't the best wedding segment they've ever done.
It was a little cringe, but I thought it was funny.
It was a little cringe, but R-Truth saves everything because... And by the way, you want an example of a guy who does not give a fuck what the fans say and is just having a good time?
By the way, what Tamina showed me is you can still do HLA in today's world. Did you hear the pop?
Yeah.
Huh? Nothing has changed, people.
Yep.
You can still do some of this stuff.
Yep.
Got to be more tasteful about it.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
But you can still do it.
Oh, yeah.
All she did was move the two guys together. She stood next to Dana Brooke, and everyone's like, yeah!
and the arena lost their shit.
And then she went back to how it was, and everyone booed her like she deserves to get booed.
Yep.
But I found that segment very funny.
Yeah.
Also, they kind of debuted a couple of young talents.
They did, yeah.
During that, I think Roxy was there and a couple others.
Also, may I say, Sasha cleaned up nice.
Oh, Sasha's a great-looking woman.
But I mean, like,
yeah.
But I mean, like, from just having wrestled to going straight to that segment, that wasn't bad.
If I didn't respect Hector, I would whoop his ass. But I respect him. He's actually a very
all
good
right. So
wrestler.
Leroy, we have
Yes.
a new manager on SmackDown.
Yeah,
Working the dark matches.
Working the dark matches. Very interesting.
Oddly enough, it could have been somebody who just worked on. Adam Cole's worked 2 rampages, and only one was good, and the only reason it was good is because Ishii was there.
Right.
But
it helps to have Ishii there.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, a man that we all love, Mr. Eli Drake, who, let's be honest, he's in the business to try to make a little coin. And, there's nothing wrong with it. But he's been honest about it. Right. He's now managing Mace, who's been renamed.
Fuck was his name on main event for that match?
I'll look it up. But anyway, LA Knight now has his own enterprise.
The only thing I really hope that comes out of this is that, 1, he's helping to build young wrestlers, but 2, they actually use LA Knight because it's a character that works.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It just works.
He has Mace and Mansoor.
Yeah.
He had with them.
Yeah.
They're repackaging Mansoor, I guess.
Well, they should use him.
Yeah.
Because he started to get over, and then they basically dropped the storyline with him and Ali. It's crazy because they did all that Arabian integration shit. Mansoor has worked out very, very well.
Yeah.
Because out of the 20 people they signed, they released half of them already.
They changed his name to Face.
Right, okay.
But here's the deal. LA Knight can talk his ass off.
Oh, God, yes.
It'll benefit Mace and... Mansoor can talk, but it's fine. It'll benefit Mansoor in the end.
And maybe it was because of his partner.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't work
but
with
am
Mansoor.
I the only one
I just don't know how
you mess up Mansoor?
Because you separate it, you put him on SmackDown, and I'm like, perfect.
Guy was getting over.
And he is over.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime they've used him on main event, he gets loud pops. He's likable.
This is a tag team I want to see only because I think they would be a great sympathetic babyface team. I want Dominic Mysterio and Mansoor.
Sure.
Okay.
Together, they would be so good at just this.
But here's the fun part: is this going to be a babyface faction or is it going to be a heel?
Oh, LA Knight's such a chicken shit guy. This is going to be heel in my opinion all day long.
This will probably be heel. He's a hell of a worker, Eli Drake. But I do think...
Well, but Jesse, do people forget that even when he was in TNA, because let's be honest, nobody watched Impact at that point, he's never been a heavy wrestler workload guy. He can go, but he's mostly been there for talking.
But he didn't need to be... he can because he can wrestle his ass off.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm
not taking that away.
He really hasn't needed to be because the character never called for him to be a heavy wrestler.
But that was my point, is that everyone's like, why isn't he wrestling in WWE? I'm like, okay, the Impact stuff... He wrestled when the money was really on the line.
Because he was one of their main eventers,
yeah,
too.
but most of the time, he was talking.
Yeah.
The talk show got him more. The biggest thing that got him over was the talk show segment with EC3. By the way, EC3, how is CYN working for you?
Oh, that is a subject we need to touch on next week.
Yes.
After talking to Corbin.
Yeah.
Because if there's a guy who should be in control of your narrative, it's Darren Corbin. And yet, no one's made that call yet.
Yeah,
So
right.
how well is that shit really going? Anyway.
But it's interesting. Now, Ellen, he has 2. Are they going to add a third person, or are they just going to keep the 2, you think?
I think they'll just do 3.
I think they'll just do the 3 of them.
LA Knight and
But I want to say this because we need to touch on him this week. One of the top 5 things before we get into your list, Jesse, that is happening right now on NXT 2.0, and he might be the best manager, I'm serious, actively in wrestling, not named Paul Heyman. Malcolm Bivens is a goddamn revelation. I say it every week.
I love it. Oh, my God, I love him.
I'm serious. Put any Creed Brothers match in the last 2 months on mute and just wait for the moments that they put the camera on Malcolm Bivens. You know the whole match, how it's going, and what's going to happen next by just watching. You want to talk about Vince loves facials? Malcolm Bivens is a goddamn genius.
He's really, by the way, also proving managers still work.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they do.
I just need Vince to be reconvinced.
Yeah, right.
Because Ronda Rousey needs a fucking manager. Because I cannot listen to her cut another promo. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's getting bad.
It's getting horrible. It was already bad.
That's true.
And this past Friday,
there was no flow to it. There was no She just said it.
I literally watched this Friday. I'm like, I actually hope Charlotte wins. But she's boring me.
She really is.
But I digress.
Yeah.
Malcolm Bivens is entertaining. Tells a great story.
He's a chicken shit heel manager.
But he's working with a babyface team.
Well, they're babyface because they turned themselves babyface by wrestling.
Right.
Creed brothers can go.
They're just likable, which I didn't see it coming. By
No.
They're insanely likable.
They really are.
And then that gauntlet match. I think what WWE has found is like if you book a gauntlet match well, boy, can you build some superstars.
Oh yeah.
I do love the guys they brought from NXT UK.
Oh, Pretty Deadly. Folks, if you ain't seen Pretty Deadly, they are some fun lads. They are just funny fucking lads.
Dude.
I'd love them bring in NXT UK guys.
Aaron Bull's boy starts this week.
Bring it over.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week, I'm going to hype it up. This week, if you ain't seen him, Nathan Frazier's about to come. He's about to light up NXT 2.0.
If you like Will Ospreay, you're going to love Nathan Frazier.
I'm looking forward to this.
This kid is going to light it up.
He's special, man.
He's special. I don't know where they look. Now, isn't he a student of Seth Rollins?
Yeah.
Isn't he a Seth guy?
He went to the school, but technically he's a Will Ospreay student. But yeah.
Yeah. But here's the deal, folks. This kid.
By the way, congrats to AEW. You had him for like 4 months, and
they did.
You let him go.
They did for 4 months. This guy worked dark.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, his name was.
And he worked in a Dynamite match with Hangman Page.
His name at the time was Ben something.
Yeah, Ben something. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and you just let him go.
And WWE grabs him, sends him home to the UK.
Listen, it's cool. Listen, you picked up Keith Lee, which you haven't done a lot with.
Next week, Leroy, write this down.
Oh, shit.
When we're done with Darren, we got to talk about this.
Picked up Swerve.
What? Keith Lee, what? And that's the segment. Keith Lee, what? Because the dude literally sat in the ring and missed the start of the match because he was waiting for the people to chant his shit. And even Swerve was like, what are we doing? I just, don't get me wrong. And it wasn't even one of those good moments where, the wrestler milks and, the referee is standing there waiting. He literally just,
WWE makes a ton of mistakes, but WWE is where Keith Lee is supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's true. I totally agree with
you.
You would be fighting Roman Reigns right now.
And I also hate to say it, Jesse, it happened with Cole. It's happened with Lee. He looks out of shape, even more so than he was in WWE.
I get why people get upset with WWE with how, two of the 3 60-year-olds run it. I get it. One the main owner is 70, but
yeah.
With those two of those 60-year-olds, I get it. But I would have to believe, and maybe Papa H not being there all the time got a lot of these guys going, I got to go do something else, because there wasn't Papa H there to go, have some patience.
Yeah.
Have some patience.
Yeah.
I get it. It's frustrating right now because a lot of those guys brought up when Triple H talked about the heart condition and all that, and a lot of people put their thoughts out there.
Yeah.
He was Papa H. He's the guy that you didn't expect because he was the main runner. He controlled your job, but he came around, put the arm around you. Hey, let's chat a little bit.
So basically, just to kind of transition before we get to your top 5, do you actually Because I understand that it sounds a lot like Damage Control and it's the family, but I listened to the inflection in the interview. I think Triple H has some actual truth in that.
I think it's half and half.
Well, but that's not what I think. It's a half and half.
Yeah.
I think NXT was going to be transitioning back to the old thing they used to do, but I do think a lot of it was to be that Vince got tired and realized he finally paid attention to it and realized, okay, this is not ready for prime time.
By the way, Vince would be wrong, but here's the two things I do know because I did listen to it.
Yeah.
One, marriage is tough. Marriage is real fucking hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you worked for your wife's dad.
Who's a billionaire?
Who's a billionaire. Once buried you for something that wasn't your idea, by the way.
Yeah.
But you still found a way to get yourself over because you were talented enough to do so.
Right.
And, man, you build up this black and gold brand that I just want people to remember. And as Pat did try to point out to Vince, like, he kind of originally started NXT as a damn game show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Vince admitted it was a bad idea. It didn't work. We tried something new, but it was
well, they were
bad.
than to jump on the reality TV show bandwagon,
and it was horseshit.
It was bad.
It was like I was shocked. I was shocked that Wade Barrett and all those guys recovered from that.
Yeah,
because the way they debuted them on the main roster is how they should have debuted the show. But I digress.
Yes.
And sure, would him and Triple H had to have a heart to heart about the black and gold brand and all that? Sure. I believe that 1,000%. Would they have come up with something with Bruce Pritchard? Sure, right? But here's the thing: if not for Triple H having to step away for like 7 months like that, that transition wouldn't have been that fucking quick.
True.
It would have been a lot smoother.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's clearly half and half.
Also, oddly
enough, damn, marriage must be tough.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, funny story. Now that Triple H is sort of back in the fold, the ground is swelling that there might be a Gargano coming back.
Like I said, it feels like all that was needed. What was the biggest unfortunate thing that really happened in WWE last year was Triple H's heart issue.
Yeah.
And the fact that he had to step away for like.
But I also want to say this. I think it might have hit Vince as well because that is his son-in-law.
Sure,
that is family.
But for the talent though, I think it was the tough fist because
doesn't it feel more now that we know Hunter's backstage again? Right. Doesn't it feel even in the show that like people just seem like a better energy?
There's a more positive energy.
There is. And even the newer stars
right.
that really weren't Triple H inventions,
right.
although they might have been coming along like you said.
Right.
Because like you said, I think it's half and half. I think that they were trying to go back to this, but I do think that part of the interview was saving face that Triple H had to do. But again, Triple H is nothing if not a WWE company guy.
Right.
He's always been that.
Right. Which is why Seth Rollins isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, Seth Rollins ain't going nowhere, folks.
You AEW marks just keep getting the teases.
Well, not to mention the fact, Jesse, he's outgrown what they do down there.
Right.
He walk in day one, and his first promo, you're like, you're better than Paige, you're better than Cole, you're better than this.
The moment he walks in, you're like, oh, well, he should be the champion right now.
Wrestling Jesus just walked in.
Like,
that's basically
whoever
what it
is
is.
The champion should walk out and just hand him the title.
Yeah, exactly. This is yours now. This is yours now, sir.
Yours. I'm good.
Yeah,
I can't even believe I'm going to say this. If he walks out to New Japan, I think the only people that can walk out and challenge him is Okada, Ibushi, and Tanahashi. After that, it's just like, yeah, you don't matter.
Just because
you don't matter.
Just because his promos are him kind of being jokery right now, he's still one of the best in the goddamn world at what he does.
In the ring, though, he's reached such a level. It's ridiculous.
It's insanity.
It is.
It's insanity.
I love it.
But no. So my biggest thing is, look, Triple H is back. I think we have to give it some time because remember the pandemic screwed a lot up.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, the pandemic screwed a lot up. The hearts thing. By the way, I am okay with you having a pacemaker and never getting back in that ring to wrestle again. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, I miss him, but I totally understand.
Nope.
For his health, and everything that he can contribute.
Don't even try to build nothing. Please, just let it be what it is. Yeah. It's fine. He can come out and hype the crowd for a few minutes.
Seems very accepting that it's over.
Well, but I think he was accepting that he was supposed to work this WrestleMania. This might have been his actual farewell.
Right.
But like Edge said, when it's taken from you, there's a weird form of acceptance.
Yeah.
However, Edge was giving it back. Triple H ain't getting this back.
He's not getting it back.
No, he's not getting it back. Although Edge even says he's got like 2 years left.
Yeah, he seems to have kind of given away the story of what he's trying to do, because he said, before I go, I want to leave a lot of the current talent in a much higher spot than they've ever been in. And that way, when I'm no longer in ring active, I can still be managerial active. I think he's going to retire with this gimmick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that's his plan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, that like this gimmick is actually over. People are enjoying it,
yeah.
And he's using bigger words than Cody. So once again, your argument from earlier in the show fucking means nothing.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
Jesse, the time has come.
Top 5 good clowns, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse, woohoo! One of our highest rated moments ever was when you mentioned the 5 biggest clowns since you've been on the show. But in the middle of all that, we gave a palate cleanser, and you said he's on the good list.
Yes.
By the way, folks, it is episode 85. It is one of the best episodes we ever did. Jesse, I'm surprised your doctor didn't have you on blood pressure medication after that episode. But anyway.
I'm sure she would consider it.
Yes. But today, Jesse, we already know number 1 because it's not that you gave it away. There's no one else that it could be.
Well, yeah.
So do you want to just give us a quick couple of minutes? Why is he your number 1? Toru Yano.
Toru Yano is the best good clown in wrestling to me, because Toru Yano accepted at least 12 to 13 years ago.
There it is.
I'm not going to be a main eventer. They're never going to let me be world heavyweight champion, probably, as a serious guy, because, to be honest, as a serious guy, it was hard for him to get over. But he's funny as shit.
How long was he sort of a trying to be serious guy?
After his excursion, it was the first year in Chaos.
Okay.
But then after that, because remember, Shinsuke was the rock star.
Yeah.
Tomohiro Ishii, when they brought him in, you're like, well, that's the serious dude.
Yeah.
That dude will fuck you up. Not even second think about it.
No.
He ain't got a lot of words to say after he does it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think Toru Yano went... Because Toru Yano apparently backstage naturally had a prankster kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think it was told to him by Shinsuke, just be yourself more. Just be the comedian, man. Like, you're funny as hell.
Shinsuke might be my favorite just person in wrestling.
Right.
Shinsuke is the most professional motherfucker.
And he was just like,
oh, yeah.
just be your natural funny self. And Toru is so damn funny. like I tell people, you know, when New Japan was starting to hit that height, especially in 2016, I used to tell people, if you don't think you can get into New Japan, just watch a Toru match before you get into the harder stuff.
Yeah.
You'll start to love New Japan. Because they always had the British dude there who, you know, speaks Japanese as well.
Yeah.
And him saying what Toru's saying kills you as an English speaker. Because clearly you get what he's saying, and then, like, as Toru's yelling it, you can kind of tell the inflection, and it's Toru Yano never changed. And actually, like I said, I actually think at some point, as a joke, he's going to get the world title.
And no one's going to care.
And no one's going to bat an eye.
No one's going to care.
People will probably think it'll be the best thing that ever happened to the championship.
And you know what? Not only will he win it in spectacular fashion,
it will be.
He will lose it
in even
and
more spectacular.
Fireworks will literally pop out of the man's ass. It's going to be the most glorious championship loss of all time.
Toru Yano is
you know, Jesse, surprisingly, if you actually go read, he's had a fairly successful career doing it.
Yes.
They haven't regulated that to him that he can never be anything.
Right.
They've literally given him and Jesse, you know, you mentioned it the first time we covered the G1 with you on the show. He's had some big G1 wins. He's blown up some brackets.
The last 2 years have been his better years. So they're almost starting to tease, like, guys, we might finally do this.
You actually believe
this year? I thought
you thought this was the year.
like, man, he might do it. My guy might win that B side of the bracket.
If Toru Yano ever gets to the finals, Jesse may cry.
But Hiroki Goto said, "I love you, brother. We're not doing this." It fucked them up. But yeah, Toru Yano #1. Toru Yano never changed. Also, get the DVD. It's great.
Also, yeah, exactly. He's gonna sell that belt to a fan, and security's gonna have to get it back.
Toru, you weren't supposed to give it away. Fan, give me money. I sold it. It's gone. I fucking love you, Toru. I love you so much.
He's been trying to sell the same DVD for like 10
years.
And you know what? Jesse be the first person to buy it.
So
Jesse be the first person to buy
it almost got bought when they were in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
So like he came out with it, and a fan had 400, four of the $100 bills. It was like, Toru, DVD, and he was literally like, DVD, and he almost sold it to him. The security was like, whoa. He's gonna make some money off that DVD one day.
Jesse will be the one to buy it.
So Toru Yano will always be good clowns. In
so
wrestling
ladies and gentlemen, it is #1, and now the rest.
And now we work down.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna work up to 2.
Okay.
So number 5, we just talked about him earlier. Danhausen is amazing. Danhausen, like I said, I was just telling Leroy, go to YouTube, search Danhausen's best ROH moments. It's like a 30-minute video.
And he also never breaks character.
No.
That's the fucking funniest part.
He is one of the few wrestlers who still nowadays keeps kayfabe. He only recently broke kayfabe in 2021 with an interview with Chris Van Vliet, but he was just talking about his overall career right before the closing of Ring of Honor. Because people were actually confused who the fuck Chris Van Vliet was talking to when he doesn't have the makeup and his hair done.
Yeah.
Because his hair is actually a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So, Danhausen.
I do this for human monies. That's all I got to say.
For human monies. Now, please buy my shirt.
That's funny shit.
Watch that video because the descriptions I can give to you of Danhausen don't even do it justice.
You can't explain a Danhausen promo.
No.
When he got into that tag team with PCO and the other guy for the Trios Championships.
God.
Dude, I never thought PCO would be the most serious person that I saw. Nothing against PCO's wrestling, but PCO's always got a nice little funniness to him.
I think ROH did that to PCO to fucking break PCO in a match, and Danhausen almost got him once.
He almost got him, yeah.
Because Danhausen's that damn funny.
Yes.
Like, he was so close to cracking PCO. Dude, Danhausen is... And that's why he legitimately got the huge pop from that fan base when he showed up. He's legitimately funny. And a fun wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he sells... He sells chicken shit better than anybody I've ever seen.
It's so
it's so good. And I mean, Toro does a lot of great chicken shit selling.
Yeah.
But he's not better than Danhausen.
No.
But Danhausen's only 5 because this has been I think it's like 5 years now he's done this.
Yeah, it's about 5 or 6 years.
Something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
But Danhausen has been great.
And by the way, Danhausen is just don't take wrestling that seriously.
He has fun with it.
He does.
This is the fun side of pro wrestling.
And he's even got Jim Cornette laughing.
Right.
They actually like Danhausen.
Right. Yes. Number 4.
All right.
We'll have him on the show next week. Darren Corbin.
Ah, yes.
Now, Darren Corbin is more of the serious side of the funner side of pro wrestling.
Yes.
For all the new listeners who tune in, if you've never gotten a chance to go watch a Darren Corbin match, first of all, I promise you next week when we're talking about him, he will openly promote the matches.
top 5 bestseller in wrestling, can't convince me.
Oh my goodness, Darren Corbin, and this is really thanks to you, Zach. Because like I said, I did get the chance to see him sometime.
Yeah.
But I only got the chance to watch more stuff after, because you guys are such big Darren guys.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I got the chance to see
Leroy's got a cup in the mail.
I'm about to say Leroy get his balls hit in.
Leroy's got a cup in the mail.
He will not have any more kids in the future.
For multiple reasons, but Darren just helped with that.
Darren just further along the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Darren Corbin's comedy is fucking perfect. Like, the timing of anything he does, if you go watch a Darren Corbin match, you will literally just fall in love. Because he's so... Basically, you pay $25 because you heard about a big kind of mainstream guy coming to that indie promotion, and then you watch Darren Corbin, you're like, I would pay $50 to see this guy again.
Come for the former WWE act. stay for the Darren Corbin match and buy the T-shirt.
Yes.
Teespring.com/Darren Corbin.
Yes. Darren really is.
I spent a little bit of money on that place.
Yeah, just a bit.
Even after he hit you in the
And
balls.
not to insult Jesse or to insult the loudmouth mercenary, red hair, don't care. Jesse, you know where else you spend a lot of money on the internet?
Where's that?
Facebook.com/Haitian Heat.
Haitian Heat,
yes.
brought to you by Al Sands. Haitian Heat is a naturally produced product. Haitian Heat, usually when you go and get your hot sauces, they are generally processed from the pepper itself. But what Al Sands and his crew does is they actually use every essence of the pepper to give you not just the heat, but the flavor of the pepper, also making it healthier for you to eat. You can use these.
Al is currently fighting or training for a fight.
He is training for a fight.
And we all know that he's using some of that Haitian Heat on just about everything he eats.
Because as an athlete, sometimes certain foods can cause you to fail tests and things of that nature.
Yep.
And so what Haitian Heat and the barbecue sauces has allowed him to put out there for not only himself but other people.
That barbecue sauce, man.
Barbecue sauce is so good.
There aren't enough good things that I could say about it.
It's tangy. It's
oh, God.
so flavorful. And also just because of the natural hickory in it.
Yeah.
Yum, 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 yum.
Yes.
There are 5 hot sauces. There are 2 barbecue sauces.
Yep.
Remember, when you are ordering from Facebook.com/Haitian Heat, to just check your email, check your messages from them, because they do update of when they can get them out. Right now, it is still a smaller operation, but they are growing.
People have to understand, I don't think that especially this group of guys, they're never going to sacrifice quality for quantity.
Correct.
So it's always going to be an operation where you have to understand, when you do things as naturally as they do, to produce something like this, it does take time. It does take a lot of effort and a lot of love.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? It's folks, one of these days Frank's Red Hot's going to catch us, but we put that shit on everything. Okay, seriously,
I can literally marinate.
I got myself a Jimmy John sandwich.
Right.
It's on our page, and they forgot the oil and vinegar. So hey, when places are busy, it happens. I'm never mad about it.
Right.
I took half that bottle of sauce, just dumped that bitch on there. That bread soaks that shit up.
Oh yeah,
that's a nice sandwich right there, folks.
Oh yeah,
holy shit!
So remember, Facebook.com/Haitian Heat. Also, go to the page as you're getting ready to maybe check out what you want to order, and check out the beautiful promotions by his little baby girl. She's wonderful.
Best taste tester in the business.
I mean, just best promoter of heat in the business.
And by the way, speaking of spending money on things, Jesse, where will you be spending your money this summer?
I will be spending my money at Dark Arts Entertainment, brought to you by the
Super Beast Training Compound in Sin City, Las Vegas, Arts District.
Thank you. And just to let you all know, they are 420 friendly.
Yep.
Now they have lined up. I think that it is now 10 shows.
Yep.
It's getting busy. So, like I said, I will be there for one of the 2 July shows. I will reveal which one in the coming months.
Yep.
So you will find me there. But they are 420 friendly. They also have live music. They also have live acts. What that means is the fire throwers. So sometimes some people call it the circus acts. In a sense.
So folks, they're in the Arts District of Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a town of showmanship.
Yes.
And this is a hybrid of pro wrestling and street performances, basically, is what you'd be seeing. So whilst the wrestling is happening, there's also a bunch of other stuff. And oddly enough, from a lot of reviews, not an overstimulating show.
So it's one of those things where
too overstimulating.
Right. So you go in, you've paid your $20, but you get everything in that $20.
Yes.
So remember, anytime you are in the Las Vegas area, look up darkartsentertainment.com. If the app is ever down, you can hit them up on Facebook.
DarkArtsVegas.com.
Thank you, DarkArtsVegas.com.
Yep.
You can hit them up on Facebook if the app is ever down.
Yep.
They will respond that way. You can get your tickets.
And they have not contracted us to say this, but obviously this goes without saying. Please use all municipal and alcoholic use. Please make sure you're safe while doing it.
Correct.
And don't become a ruckus, because that locker room will make sure you are.
Oh, trust me, they'll throw you out
themselves.
And you won't fight it. So remember, darkartsvegas.com.
You
There's
won't
a ton of
be
events
able to fight it. Okay, there's a difference.
So Darren Corbin at 4. Jesse, we have 2 more.
So Darren Corbin is number 4, Danhausen 5, and of course Giortano at 1. Number 3, R-Truth.
Nice.
Yes.
R-Truth. Want to talk about extending your career?
You want to talk about finding a career that no one thought was really
Correct.
possible? Because, again, no offense to Ron, but everything he'd had up until this point, no one saw that coming.
Right.
Because he always tried to be serious about it.
Right.
But like Vince found, his natural inclination is to be this.
He's incredibly funny. He's made the 24/7 title thing work when he can.
He's getting his baby back. We all know that's happening.
By the way, he's as old as Leroy, which I didn't think was possible. But he hasn't really aged a day
No.
in a long time.
No.
And
R-Truth. Okay, when
He
you look
ages
up the
better than
phrase
me.
"black don't crack" on the Urban Dictionary,
Oh,
it
it's
should
R-Truth.
just be a picture of Ron
Right,
Gillies.
It's R-Truth.
He'll be 60 and still look like
right,
that.
right. It's not even a question.
He might not be able to do the splits as easily, but he'll be 60 and still look like
For
that.
sure.
His kids are going to age before he does.
Anyone who can make Brock Lesnar take the piss
Yes.
deserves to be on the good clowns list.
Yeah.
Like, clearly knows what they're doing.
He's older than me.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
50.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, you wouldn't know it.
No.
You couldn't tell.
You wouldn't know it.
So R-Truth is number 3 on my list. Number 2 may surprise some people.
All right.
We all know this wrestler. We all love this wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
It's a female wrestler.
Okay.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I am intrigued.
She got herself over. And yet she's also one of the best technical wrestlers in the game. And we hope to see her back very soon. It's Bayley.
Okay.
Ah.
Bayley is one of the funniest fucking performers ever. One of the things that the heel thing started to show me is that this woman can do comedy.
That's fair.
Let me break it down for
I
people who
think-
are a little confused.
Before
Yeah.
you go on, because
Okay.
this is going to need clarification.
Okay.
It almost seemed like at times it was obvious that Sasha was playing off of Bayley,
Yes.
not the other way around,
Right.
which is kind of what it always was for years in
Right,
NXT.
right.
But when the pandemic hit and they had basically the opposite roles of what they used to be, it's clear that Bayley, because it's clear that Bayley was kind of running that thing.
When she got the chance to turn heel,
Yeah.
which, to be honest, before the pandemic, I also thought was freshly needed because the company.
Well, but here's the
killed
deal.
that
Here's the deal.
babyface
Here's the deal.
character.
I think we also all didn't think it was possible. Let's be honest about it.
Well, I did because I said you have to try to do something with her because you have failed female Hulk Hogan, which I didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't think was possible. And the level of snottiness.
Yes.
And the first time she did Ding Dong Hello, which was a promo against Alexa Bliss and Nikki,
Yep.
I fucking died laughing because I literally was like, what is she going on about? And then it reminded me a lot of being out in the LA area and listening to like the rich women of the area, the high class, and how they were so snobby and stuff. And all she did was bring that to the ring. For those who don't know, she's actually from San Francisco. So
San Jose? I think it's San Jose.
well, San Jose, San Francisco.
It's
area,
all
you
kind of
could
the
say.
same area
Yeah, it's
there,
all
yeah.
kind of in the same
Well,
area. But
well, Jesse, you've been out there. I mean, in reality, it's a lot like the New York area. You can kind of, just from the freeway, get to a lot of places pretty quick.
well, San Jose and San Francisco, though, are still Northern California. So
Yeah.
but yeah, and I cannot tell you how many promos she has cracked me up on. The feud between her, Sasha, and Kyrie and Asuka. I'm telling you guys, go rewatch it. It's one of the best and funniest feuds you'll ever see.
Yeah.
These women, they clearly were having fun. With the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
feuds, and it was funny as shit.
It really was.
So, believe me when I tell you, rewatch a lot of what Bayley was doing, including with Bianca Belair. You will go, I get what good clown means. Like, they're supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Bayley is number 2 and clears out my list. So, number 5 is Danhausen. Number 4 is the great Darren Corbin, who we will have on next week.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Scheduling is always
Right. Card subject to change.
Yep.
Number 3, R-Truth.
Yep.
Number 2, Bayley. And number 1, never change.
Toru Yano.
Toru Yano.
Please never change.
Please never change.
Soon to be at some point the
IWGP Heavyweight Champion of the world.
And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what the exchange rate is, American to yen, but if they print a T-shirt, I'm buying that shit.
If he wins the title and he's in the U.S., New Japan might have just made 1 million more fans. That guy is gold. Just have him do interviews. Let the British do the conversion of the speaking, and watch America fall in love. Like, I love this guy.
Yano.
They're going to have to make copies of that DVD if they do that. People are going to be like, what's on that DVD? I want that DVD.
It's just hentai.
I will.
That would be great.
Oh, God. Hentai is pretty good.
It's not about Jesse's preferences. It's just that's what Yano would sell you for $400.
There you go.
It's just a freaking thing you could get off the internet for free.
Right.
That's what Yano would do.
That's what Yano would do.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to connect with Darren this week
and
smooth things out to figure out when he's going to call and stuff.
We got a couple more things here today. First and foremost, this Monday we will be celebrating 20 years of the Viper.
I hear voices in my head.
Name the Jesse.
I can't believe.
Name the band.
They counsel Rev Theory.
There you go. Theory. I miss my boys in Rev Theory, man. I love my boys.
They haven't been around in a while.
Well, they haven't put out much in a while. It's been a while. But no, guys, 20 years, and he's surpassed his grandpa and his daddy.
Yeah, and 20 years in the same company.
At arguably the top almost the entire time.
Just about, yeah.
At least most of the time.
Well, after Evolution.
Right.
After his first initial introduction.
A guy who really did grow up and is now really the elder statesman of the locker room.
But 2003 to 2004, Randy Orton was a fucking menace.
Randy Orton has gone on some tears.
2003 to 2005, Randy Orton was a menace, dude. Kicked Vince McMahon in the skull. Kicked John Cena's dad in the skull twice. Threw John Cena into the fucking ocean.
Kissed his boss.
Literally tried to kill Lita. Like, this nigga was a menace. And I'm sorry I said that word, but he was a menace.
You're good.
Holy shit. Like, this dude. I remember when I was watching that and I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, and I, of course, he's a bad guy, so you're not supposed to like him.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think somebody actually might need to take him out of life. Like, this dude's fucking insane.
Yo.
That was perfect.
Oh my god.
There was a gal they're talking about Randy Orton. He goes, all the women loved him, but all the guys hated him because all the ladies loved him. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Randy Orton has been a guy that
I don't mean to.
No,
he literally. If people don't remember this promo with the feud with Triple H, he literally talked about, man, I haven't seen Linda in a while. It'd be kind of cool to kick her in the skull. I'm like, bro, she's 55.
Why not?
This guy was a menace.
Yeah.
Like, I get getting kicked out of a faction. This dude was like, yeah, I'm going to kill everybody.
Randy Orton was an uncomfortable feeling for a while.
Dude.
He gonna punt everybody's ass.
Yeah.
Even the fucking Pope. He would have punted
Orton
the Pope.
Was
all right?
so much fun at that point.
Punted the president.
No, the Pope.
The Pope.
Fuck the president. The Pope.
Don't get much higher than the Pope.
Michael could fly down from the heavens, and heaven forbid he tries to pick up a quarter for a kid. And Randy would have been like, perfect head to fucking kick off right now. Like, that dude was a menace. So, actually, it's funny that I even bring that up. There is a video on YouTube. Randy Orton was a menace. That's literally the name of it.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the creator.
Yeah.
It's got about 10,000 views right now. Actually, we'll probably have a lot more.
Yeah.
Go watch it. Oh, my God. Because he kind of explains it, but then he shows a shit ton of clips. And you're reminded, like, yeah, this was not like if you thought Triple H in the reign of terror was bad.
Yeah.
Randy Orton was just horrifying.
Yep.
Like, we talk about The Undertaker being kind of intimidating, The Fiend and all that.
Yep.
Randy, the character, that persona was so devastating. You literally thought, like, Is he actually crossing the line in every feud, and they're just not going to fire him? Is that what he's doing?
20 years, and this guy arguably is in GOAT conversation. I mean,
if you ask me my Mount Rushmore, or not even Mount Rushmore, you ask me the best of all time, he's in the top 15.
he has to be.
Oh yeah, he is. He is with me.
And of course, especially our knowledge. A lot of our knowledge goes years and years
Yeah.
back. But he would be top 15. He has established something that's why he's so solid now. He can go do this with Riddle.
And what's so unique about Randy is he's arguably the Bo Jackson of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
In the sense that he could legitimately just not care and still go out there and put on a hell of a show.
Sure, yeah.
When Randy has been engaged, you will see some of the best wrestling arguably ever. And
when he's engaged, that's when he's. I think that's when people have learned to really appreciate him a lot.
Yeah,
because there was a time.
Yeah,
2011 to like 2014. Randy was every now and then engaged, but there's a lot of rest holds. It got real fucking boring.
Yeah,
and I'm like, clearly you don't give a shit, dude.
Yeah, but a guy who I don't think could work anywhere else because there's nobody anywhere else except maybe there that could touch him.
Let me be very clear why he couldn't work anywhere else. Even if there was another company, TNA is not even worth talking about at that time because when you add Hogan to the shit that Dixie Carter was doing, it was destined to fail, unfortunately. But I don't think anyone else could have worked with him because no one besides Vince McMahon would have had that much patience. Because he also, a lot of the newer guys don't really have this, but he had a lot of fucking trouble outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Like the bike incident, and then getting pissed at Punk because Punk brought it up. Well, at the time, young Punk was absolutely right.
Yeah.
You literally got yourself fucking hurt. We were supposed to have a fucking match, and then it gets put off for another pay-per-view because you stupidly go out, ride your bike at 2 a.m., not even drunk, thinking you were going to go get some ass, and then you get yourself hurt. Good job, dude.
Yeah.
At that time, Punk was right to bring that up.
Yeah.
But no, only Vince McMahon can have that patience. Because usually Vince can see it outside of personal perspective. He sees it business-wise, and he went, this kid is good for business. We got to punish him, but he's going to be back where he was.
Yeah.
Same thing with Shawn. Triple H really didn't have too many issues outside the ring. Neither did The
Rock.
But
Triple H was the guy that got punished in the Clique because he's the only one that really didn't have too many things going for
basically
him.
because he was the only guy within the Clique that they could have let go at any time, even though there were plans for him at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Randy Orton has been phenomenal, and to really give him a lot of credit, put a lot over a lot of young talent.
Yeah,
that's the other thing people forget about him. Some of these guys he's cut or that were cut and stuff, Randy Orton has put over. So he's also tried to give back a lot too in the last 6 years. So, yeah, He's ended up on my positive list.
Yeah.
But before I graduated high school, there was just a time I thought that dude should be in prison.
Oh, yeah.
Between him and Brock, because I'm like, it feels like these dudes are crossing the line. Brock fucking throwing handicapped people downstairs and shit like a menace. I'm like, what is WWE becoming? Ruthless aggression or not? What are we doing? Do people remember when fucking Brock Lesnar tied fucking Rey Mysterio to the gurney and then slammed him 7 times against a ring post?
Yep.
Yeah. That's some evil shit.
Oh, yes.
Now, of course, Brock, even as older, tried to kill Austin Theory. Hey, kid, you want to take a bump from me? I'm going to F5 you off of one of the cells inside of the chamber. You're young. You'll be able to take it. Brock, I love you. I can't. I got family. I can't let you just murder me, bro. And then, Vince was probably like, you're going to get a push. So Austin was like, All right.
Murder me. Yeah, they're going to do a wonderful celebration on Monday. I'm guessing most likely the Usos are going to show up to interrupt and stuff, of course.
Well, sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's the way the story goes. And that's good. We celebrate Randy, but then, you know.
Also the longevity of 20 years.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's only been in the game for 4 years longer than the Bucks. The Bucks can't even touch his career.
I'm not even going to engage in that conversation.
There we go. Well,
because that's like engaging in wiping ass, and that's not really an engagement.
That's fair.
There you go. Well, speaking of anniversaries, this starts our year number 3.
Yes, it does.
It is. The NFL draft, and that signifies another year. Number 3.
Look at you two.
That's crazy.
This is awesome.
He's put up with me for 3 years. That's incredible.
Let's be fair. You've put up with him for 3 years.
Well, it's kind of, it could be back and
this
forth.
guy's a fucking menace, too.
Well, thank God he's
Me and
gonna,
Allison had that conversation in the car to watch WrestleMania. This guy's a menace.
Thank God he's going to get married and she'll straighten him out a little bit more.
I mean, she already has, thank God.
Well, now she has a ring.
She's powerful.
Oh, I know.
Jesse knows a lot of what I used to do.
Yeah, this guy's a menace to society.
I've done some shit.
This guy should be on the FBI's watch list, to be honest.
You make one world domination plan in high school.
And it just goes to hell.
247 steps specifically mapped out. And all of a sudden you're a mess. Of course.
Well, she has a ring. She'll have a ring on him, and she'll total control.
Actually, no. No.
To be honest, she's actually probably more dangerous than he is because she's much more of a planner.
Yeah.
But
actually, no, Leroy.
Oh my! What?
No ring for me. So
all right.
No,
that's fine. I don't matter.
No. Let me explain this. I think a lot of people can get this, but when you're like me and you bowl and you're a gamer and you've done certain things, I am very painfully aware of my hands.
Oh yeah.
Gloves, I have no choice because it's fucking cold as shit where I live. But stuff on my hands is just super like anxiety panic attacky to me.
Right.
So
I don't mind rings.
So she's fine as long as the ring exists. I don't have to wear it. But like, yeah, I'm one of those people where like I'm super aware of my hands. It's partially why sometimes video games are somewhat easier for me once I get it down because I have that ability to know where everything is.
Right.
But yeah, it's just I have this painful, panicky a bit like thought process when it comes to my hands and my fingers. So just a ring, I can't do it.
Right.
I cannot.
And
well, she'll have one. So
yeah. And welcome in this year 3. If you guys need a shirt, we have our own podcast.
We got merch.
We do have merch. So if you would like one, I know a couple of you say, hey, I'd like one. Okay. If you want one, you're going to have to tell me more than I like one because we got to know where to send it and to get the money. Only $20. $20. We will send it to you.
And as I told my buddy Willie, who is a 4X long, it's like, you give us the shirt size,
we'll get it to you.
We got it. There's no issue with shirt size because we do have 2 fairly large dudes when it comes to shirts on the show, so we have no choice.
Hey, I'm trying to lose a little weight. I could squeeze into the extra large we got.
I'm just trying to move my stomach to my ass. I'm trying to have
a
nice ass. Yeah.
Speaking of nice asses, is Jesse, I got to give you a round of applause because you went an entire segment and didn't bring up Bailey's ass.
Yeah, which is impressive as a black man.
That's okay. That's okay. Jesse has
because when she started wearing the black, it became more noticeable to me, and I'm like, oh wow, wow.
That's okay. Jesse gets Nikita Lyons live on NXT
2.0. Woo!
Yeah,
she's good too because she knows what she's doing now.
Oh yeah.
Because now every time she's getting ready to hit that finisher, she goes,
she knows exactly.
She's like, guys, take out your cameras. You know what time it is.
Yep.
Look at my ass.
And look at all of us simps in the crowd going, yeah, hit the finisher, baby. We're fucking gullible. She's gonna be women's champion because of that fat ass. God, we're terrible.
And do you care?
Yam Bigelow.
Yeah.
Yam Dusa.
Yam
Stratus.
I have been successful of selling a few. So I want to get some more sold so we can order some more because, it costs money to get the shirts. So, we need that. So, but hey, if you need it, contact one of us. You can directly message us on Facebook Messenger is connected.
Correct.
It is connected to my phone, so I
Right.
will be able to answer
I'm
you.
about to say either me or Leroy will say
If I don't answer you, I'm working.
Yep.
Or Jesse answer because he's not working. He's available.
Right.
We'll get that. Get us your info. We'll get it to you.
Like we said, not just because of the guys on the show, but in general, I hate places that are like, well, we can't do a 6X shirt. I'm like, why not?
Right.
We can.
If you want a shirt, folks, we're not in this to make a profit. If it somehow comes out of it, it goes right back into the show anyway.
Right.
So $20 a shirt, hands down. If we've said it before, we will cover some shipping costs. We'll also cover any extra money that it takes to make the shirt with material.
Right.
But $20 for shirts. We have merch, and Jesse's working on a personal shirt that he'd like to get out here soon.
I really want to get
I
I just need him to say yes. Once he says yes, the shirt's happening.
Yes, it
But
will.
yeah, I said this money is going to go towards other shirts. It's going to go for us.
Growth in production.
For shows, if we have to pay for a hotel room somewhere, that'll help by that.
Not booked by Leroy.
Yes, I know. Yeah, Allison will take care of it, or my better half will too, because she's better at it too, probably. And I have a great board, but I would like to get a new board that would make us sound better.
Yep.
Sure.
We can do phone interview better.
Right.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Also,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, like we said, moving on to year 3. It's been a lot of fun. Episode 100 next week. If we can get him on here, he is technically the man who helped originate this show.
I did tell him that.
Yes.
I did tell him.
Yes.
Thank for you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
started this juggernaut of
also, technically,
of a podcast.
he's the man that helped the podcast start. The name is me not being able to come up with more questions. That's really all that was.
and it worked.
2 random mistakes that was just like, I've run out of questions for Darren and JDX, but boom, 13. Boom, we're done. But anyway, also...
And I'm happy that I'm not the only one that got hit by a wrestler in our 3 years here.
All 3 of us have been hit by a wrestler, yeah. Although Jesse was hit by a wrestler with a wrestler. Jesse was beaten up by a motherfucker using another motherfucker.
He was my friend.
Yeah, but at least we caught him. It looked pretty good.
By the way, also for those wondering if I plan on trying to interview Mr. Paul Burke, yes.
But we do need to talk to Mr.
Jesse
Paul.
will be in a safe, undisclosed location.
Away from him being
Video.
able to throw other wrestlers
There you
at
go.
me.
Yes.
But
With
now,
Nowhere chairs
Yes,
anywhere.
but-
So
yes, that means, folks, that the signifying of our new year is also the signifying of a new year in the NFL. It's time for kids to get their life dream, get that phone call that changed your life. These 2 gentlemen will also be getting the ability to put in their future wrestling companies. Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever 13-card subject change draft will be happening. Commissioner Zach Bouchard and our draft correspondent Marcus has recently they spoke. Sources came out, released the 7 rounds. These 2 gentlemen will be picking from that, and Jesse will basically be finishing his draft with the statement, "Jets, this is how it's done." And
You son of a bitch!
and then cry because the Jets suck. Because you will lose this draft. I will win this draft because he puts that on there. That's it.
we'll give
'Cause
Jesse a minute.
I will have no mention of the Vikings on my draft whatsoever, and that's
We'll
how
give
I
Jesse
win.
a minute.
I wish I was born in California too, is all I'm saying. I didn't want to love the Jets. It just happened.
It's all right. All
Being a
right.
New York sports fan is just pain.
Yup.
It's just pain.
As I say to all my Packer fans, they have pills for that.
Yep. Ladies and
They're
gentlemen,
not strong enough, Leroy.
ladies and gentlemen, we are hoping to also have someone covering the draft. Maybe one of our past guests will be on to cover the draft in between. But basically how the show will work is there will be 7 rounds. But also we will have topics to do that show. It'll be a normal show. After each topic, there will the timer will start, and it's time to pick the draft. Now, gentlemen, to remind you, if you did not see the post from our wonderful draft insider Marcus Gold,
Screenshotted it, son.
I
ladies and
saved
gentlemen,
it. I'm going to have to print it out.
7 rounds. The first round will be current recognized world champions. All those world championships will be revealed next week of which guys you're allowed to pick. Number 2, and Allison did help with the draft order. You have to start your women's division off and start it off with who you believe will be the best person to do that with. Your third one is a wrestler, by definition, has to be a former world champion. So you're technically getting another world champion level guy, but he needs to be a former world champion.
Okay.
Number 4 will be your tag team. Number 5 is a wild card. You must pick someone from any company other than WWE or AEW. They are both off limits.
Easy.
Being the two biggest.
Oh, really?
For me, easy.
Yep. Being the two biggest
Easy for me.
companies in America. Number 6 is a manager. Specifically, this is not your GM. This is a man who will be managing wrestlers on the roster. So they have to be a specific manager. Jesse, I have been given word that draft status is now eligible. Truth Martini will be eligible for this draft.
Oh.
So just a quick notice for you.
Okay.
I know you were inquiring to his draft availability.
Yes.
He is coming out of the ranks and will be joining the draft pool.
Okay.
And number 7 is any male singles wrestler that you would like to start off with. So basically, I'm giving you a champion, an upper mid-carder, and someone that'll basically be opening your show.
All right.
So that'll be your draft pool. And today we will definitely have ourselves a little bit of a situation. It helped Kareem end up in Milwaukee, of all places. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a best 2 out of 3 coin flip. Leroy, this is your house.
Huh.
Jesse, I believe, has...
Do you have a quarter?
I think I might.
I do.
Oh, I have physical quarters.
Well, but here's the deal. I hate that whole thing where you flip it, catch it, and then flip it. Whatever it lands on, that's what it is. That's why we're using this.
Right.
But here's the deal. Jesse has given up the ability for you to call it. So, Leroy, this is this is your house.
I need a consultant real quick.
All right.
I do. Hold on.
He has an agent for this. He has an agent for
Yes, I get
this.
agents.
But
They're
anyway,
cute.
but anyway, Jesse.
Of course, the white guy would have agents.
Yep. Yep. It's all about marketing with
That's
you.
right. I know.
Jesse, while we're here,
Right.
we're going to give you a quick minute here. What are you looking for in your roster?
I'm looking into strength of characters.
Okay.
Strength of their storytelling.
All right.
And the ability to be able to be counted upon.
Okay.
To draw in a crowd.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be best 2 out of 3 because I believe that's fair.
Sure.
So
What? Come here.
So Leroy, I believe that
I get the first pick here.
Yes.
Can you say it real quick here? Come here.
Heads.
All right.
Oh,
so
we'll call heads first.
all right. So
I love my consultant.
and
It's 2-on-1. It's
no, Jesse, I am nothing if not a fair commissioner. Each coin flip will flip back and forth. You get to pick the second coin flip to try to get yourself back in it if you so are to lose it. So the first coin flip here, Leroy, you've called heads?
Yeah, we called heads, yes.
The very first coin flip is heads. So Leroy is ahead there. Jesse, we'll move on to the second coin flip here. You may pick heads or tails for your ability at the first overall pick.
heads.
We're going to go heads again. Okay, so we're going to flip that coin. And it is actually heads. So we're going into here. So I'm actually going to be the tiebreaker to make that fair.
Okay.
Leroy, I'm picking this time to make that fair. So basically what we're going to do here is
Can I ask Ruby? My cat?
you can ask the mascot.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jesse, I'm going to actually give you heads again. Leroy, you're going to be tails this time.
All right.
And basically, we're going to figure out who will get the first overall pick in the draft. Now, the official date for the draft has not officially been set. But, again, it depends on the actual draft is this Thursday. Jesse, as per normal New York law, may need a week to recover from the draft. So,
That's true.
We here at 13 Cards are not.
I will do this next week regardless of what the Jets do.
All right. We're nothing if not tolerable of
It's
cultural
fine.
holidays. We know that New York sports fans need some time off.
I'm used to disappointment.
All
so
right,
it's
so here we
fine.
go. Here we go. The final coin flip.
Oh, me
determines
too.
the
I do
number
understand,
one
yes.
overall pick. You will get to pick the current world champion. Now, again, it has to be a current recognized world champion. That pool will be released later on in the week. Also look forward to interviews involving both these men with our draft correspondent, Marcus Gold, who will be asking them how they feel following the results of this next coin flip. So here we go.
All right.
Either pain or joy.
And officially, Evan, come over here, please, so that you may confirm.
All right.
He is the agent.
Yeah, I know. I got a little
What
help.
do we got?
That wins.
It is tails, Jesse.
I accept.
Yep.
I accept.
Yep. It is.
You know
tails.
what?
Also,
You're going down.
also, Jesse.
All right, I'm good. I'm still
All
good.
right,
I'm good.
Also,
I'm good.
also to Jesse, to make you feel a little better, breaking news right here from the man himself. Darren Corbin approves of your list.
Oh, great.
All right.
All right, so
Good. That's
next
good news.
So next week we'll have Darren Corbin on the show. Maybe again we'll decide later in the week if the draft will be next week. Only because I do want to see if I can't get someone here to analyze each and every pick that we go through.
Sure.
As the commissioner, I'd like to stay as impartial as possible while reading off the picks. But basically, how it will work, folks, the draft is simple. We're gonna open the show with basically saying the draft is open. During the first segment of the show, Leroy, you will have that much time essentially to pick.
So you're on the clock, bitch.
You will be on the clock from
Welcome
these.
to the Jacksonville corner. You're on the clock, bitch.
But you know what? I actually would pick a feasible draft pick that I'm not going to botch on. You're welcome.
Also, folks.
With some of the world champions, it would be hard to pick a bad one.
Also,
'cause
folks.
we know who they are.
Also,
Well,
folks.
yes.
Also, folks, if you're in or have access to the Pro Wrestling Lounge, look for these two to post feelers that they have.
Sure.
People they've been talking to, agents they've been talking to
course.
throughout the week. Marcus will also be interviewing both men. Leroy, congratulations on the first overall pick. Jesse, I have no doubt that you'll also be able
I'm
to
just,
have a
I'm going to
great
tell
overall.
everyone who I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to assume I'm going to lose Roman Reigns immediately. So,
Why do you assume that?
I
It's a smart bet, yes.
because the best guy in pro wrestling.
No. This is not late 90s, early 2000s NFL. We are not announcing the picks early.
But that's what I'm assuming. So if you would like to,
Well,
I will. My first live, which will be tomorrow. I'm just gonna discuss some world champions, and I'm gonna get feeling what people feel about these world champions.
Just remember, folks, officially recognized by Pro Wrestling Illustrated
Right.
must be those champions.
Right.
So that'll be, hopefully next week. If not, the draft will be given. And again, if we have to postpone the draft, it's only
No, it's
only
fine.
no. I'd
But-
like to get an analyst. If we can't get one live next week, we'll
Right.
definitely work on it. But it'll just give these two more time to get people on their side.
just don't assume, because that makes an ass out of you and me. So,
But
I always make an ass out of myself.
well,
though,
that's all right.
But yes, we're looking forward to it. Jesse, this might be the first draft in years you're actually looking forward to as a New York sports fan.
You motherfucker.
The truth hurts, Jesse.
We're not even at 3 hours, and you have caused me more pain.
Did I do that, or did the guys who thought
It's gonna be a good draft for the Jets
All
this
right,
year.
okay, all right.
Are we gonna?
Did I do that, or did the years of picking defensive players that didn't pan out do that?
That may be.
You're so lucky I like your
Did-
wife.
I know we were talking about if you're gonna have a little like chime or whatever.
But let me
us
repeat this
picking
again.
it.
So basically, we're going to be fair, Leroy. We're not going to do it exactly in the NFL's room, but basically, as soon as the intro is done, we will be announcing that the draft is open, and you will be on the clock. You will have 15 minutes to make the pick. If the pick is early, we will have note cards. Make sure you pick those up. We're going to have note cards that you will pass along to me. Face down so no one can see it. And as soon as you are ready, we
Do you
will
need some note? You got no? You have some note
I
cards?
might bring a notebook and then just write it and then
Okay, yep.
flash it.
Yep.
Okay, well I'm gonna get note cards.
Yep. So basically,
That would
folks.
make it easy.
So basically,
Okay.
folks. No one will know the pick until
Right.
until I announce it.
Right.
We will be stopping wherever we are in the middle to create some suspense.
Sure.
Each round following will be less time. Have not decided how much less time you're going to get in those 7 rounds, but just know that seventh round, despite the large pool of male singles wrestlers in the world, you will not have a lot of time to pick those people. The amount of time for the draft will be announced later on, but hopefully we'll see what happens with this year's draft. I think there's a lot of great candidates, and I think Jesse has that look in his face where he will have the better overall roster. Once the rosters are posted
For sure.
and picked, we will post them on our page, and people on the internet, you can go to our Twitter or our Facebook. You can vote on who you think has the better roster.
I mean, you'll probably have the better 2 champions at first, but otherwise, you're so losing this.
No, I'm not gonna
You're
lose. No,
so losing this.
I have confidence.
All right, guys. Now, before we get anywhere, we are going to review something that actually ended up happening. Couple quick things. NXT 2.0 had a pretty good week. I actually thought it was a pretty good show. And Jesse, now we're going to move on to the wrestling company that seems like the ultimate zombie promotion that will not die. If you're wondering why you heard crying in the next room, it's because Jesse saw a moment between a family that should have happened a while ago.
Man.
And this time they didn't screw it up.
Well, I mean, it's not that they screwed it up. It was just like, we're going to really make this guy a dick heel. Josh Alexander becoming Impact World Champion.
You want to start with that? We'll just go right into it? Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah. He, as Josh Alexander defeated Moose by pinfall to be the new Impact World Champion.
Josh Alexander is so deserving of this. And I know some people were like, meh, and all this. You know, some people felt like maybe it should have happened sooner. And they're probably right. But it happened finally.
Is this the real best bout machine in all of professional wrestling?
Yeah. I would say... Now, I still believe Roman Reigns is the best champion in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Okada would be number 2. It would be hard not to put Josh Alexander at 3 because that guy is just... He immerses you into his matches. He's just so likable because he feels like such a normal guy. Because for a while, even though he's a pro wrestler, he was still a carpenter. He was still a firefighter. Like it feels most of the time. Josh Alexander just feels like a normal dude who just loves pro wrestling.
He's also the guy that it should be noted was not the person you thought would break out of that tag team.
Right. Everyone thought it would be Ethan Page. And
rightfully so, based on the work that you saw them doing.
And the promos and stuff like that. Ethan Page is a hell of a promo. Mm-hmm. But it's also one of those things where Josh has really shined. And because of that likable personality, I'm going to say something that people probably aren't going to like, but it's true. He's everything that before the tragedy everyone was hoping Chris Benoit was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And because he's a great technical wrestler, he's such a really likable babyface. Because Chris Benoit just always just felt like a normal guy.
He did.
Who could tear you apart in the ring.
Yeah.
But he just felt like a normal guy. Cut normal guy promos, but they were really fun. And then of course tragedy struck as far as that's concerned.
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
But Josh just he's so likable. And by the way, not a shot at Moose. Moose has been fantastic.
Moose was a great world champion.
Oh, he was definitely
fantastic. Still a top guy. And the match is overall great.
The loss doesn't hurt Moose.
Not at all.
In my opinion.
No. Not at all. Still an asshole.
And, for a former champion in the draft, very good pick.
Well, and trust me, Josh is up there for me. So, I think when Josh won, I'll admit I did get a little emotional, just because it wasn't when the wife came into the ring.
It was when his boy came in.
It was when you saw his son take off the clothes and was dressed just like his dad.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, it just melted my heart, man. So yeah, I thought that was absolutely beautiful. I love Josh Alexander.
One more kid in that arena than is in any AEW arena. But anyway,
there you go.
To give AEW credit once again, and like I said, I do try to do positive with them. Pittsburgh had a really good turnout for children. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah. Pittsburgh
all right.
had a lot
So,
of kids.
Leroy, what else we got?
All right. Well, we had a couple pre-matches.
Overall, this was a great pay-per-view.
Yeah.
A
lot of fun.
I thought so.
A lot of good reviews on it. First pre-match, Eddie Edwards defeated Chris Bay by pinfall in a nice singles match.
Eddie has really shined as a singles wrestler.
Oh yeah.
I think both Wolves have, but they were so in sync. You almost never thought you could see him separately.
Eddie also, when he started doing some of the hardcore stuff with Tommy Dreamer, is when I started to go, oh, Eddie could be a top guy.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of upside.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie's always fun to watch. I think Eddie turned heel though after this match.
Okay.
Because I think he cut a promo. I would have to go look it up, but yeah, I think he actually turned heel after this match.
But no, overall.
First of all, Chris Bay.
Chris can go.
If they're going to do the American version of Bullet Club, Chris Bay should probably lead it, because Chris Bay is just great. The swagger always on a million. And it's exactly what that idiot Carl Anderson needs so he doesn't talk. Now that AJ's going to be in WWE until he retires, but
Yeah.
Chris Bay is perfect for that role of the little kind of main event guy in front of those two guys.
Yeah.
Chris Bay is fantastic.
Chris Bay was a guy. I'm not gonna lie, Jesse. I think you can kind of agree with this. When I first saw him, I didn't get it.
It was odd.
I
didn't get the character.
I didn't get it.
I thought he was good in the ring, but I didn't get the character at all. So yeah, Chris Bay, but he found himself.
Yes.
And once he found himself, he has skyrocketed.
And in my opinion, not in any way a bad pick to add to an American Bullet Club stable.
Oh, I agree.
By any means.
Though he's half in, half out because of the whole fucking Torture Club thing.
True, yeah, obviously. Well, Jesse, you're about 3/4 the way out because of Torture Club.
I'm gonna get jumped by 20 dudes because I'm gonna go fight them.
Yeah. All right, Leroy. What else do we have?
All right. We had the Influence. Madison Reed and Tishel Dashwood defeated the Inspiration.
Interestingly enough, the former Iconics worked as babyface this year.
Yeah.
I haven't actually followed the story very closely on Impact.
Okay.
Fair.
Yep.
I say this time with absolute no disrespect to Mr. Former 10, who I can't stand, but his wife is great. And listen, I would think with these two within the next 3 years, if they keep going, WWE is going to come calling again.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, Jessica McKay did not know she had this kind of ability in ring.
Right.
We just did not see it in WWE.
She was such a good comedy wrestler.
Yeah.
You just never thought of it.
And she works a much more serious style in Impact. She's very good.
Yeah.
She's very good. So, I mean, I know people, ladies, if you put it out there, then guys are going to, the eyeballs you're going to get are the eyeballs you're going to get. Just understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So her, Jordan Grace, and Chelsea Green put out this photo shoot thing right before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And it's yes, they are great looking women. They are excellent looking women.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm I just can't focus on that. I have to see this match.
Yeah, that's fair.
Madison Rayne is 40 years old.
You would never know it. She hasn't aged in 10.
No, she hasn't.
She hasn't aged in 10 years.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Because she left for 4 years to go to school to go back and finish her degree.
She did.
So yeah, it's actually quite incredible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a fun match though.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so so that was the pre-show, right? So
that's the pre-show. Yep. Starting in there, we had a triple threat match with Steve McLean defeating Chris Sabin and Jay White by pinfall.
Steve is everything. This is why it is hard for people to convince me that Bruce Pritchard knows how to book. You're telling me you couldn't do this gimmick in WWE? It's basically a former military dude, doesn't feel respected, and sometimes takes it too fucking far. And by the way, Impact kind of does a PG style. They do a little bit more blood than WWE would do, but they basically do a PG style too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, you couldn't have did this in WWE? But Steve is in a good place.
No. Back to the Lacey Evans promos. Hard to believe that a person can get over by, I don't know, being themselves.
There you go.
But as I digress, I didn't want to talk about Funky Love. Yeah, first of all, also in this match, there was a really fun spot where, by the way, AEW, this is how you set up spots. So Steve and the other big guy in the match, they were kind of brawling.
Yeah.
And instead of a normal running tope suicida, I forget his name, the smaller guy, he literally, really they were brawling. Steve turned to go see where he was, and he realized, this guy's already in the fucking air. Because what he did was he just timed it right.
Yeah.
And that to me gets a better, it'll get a better pop out of me as a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
When I don't know that the spot's coming.
Yeah.
Because then it's to me it's funner. Now WWE can be guilty of it, when you see the guys looking to the crowd and you're like, well, Cord, all right, they're getting ready to jump.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Yeah, I'm like, this is how. To me, this is what I think CYN was trying to get at.
Yeah.
But it just sounded very pretentious in the way they were talking about it.
Yeah.
Especially 2 out of 3 of those guys.
Yep.
Adam Shear should never be talking about high flying spots.
No.
You are a limited wrestler, Adam. Remember, you are a limited wrestler.
Yes.
But otherwise, yeah, great
match. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Then this is for the Triple Eight Arena Championship.
Yes.
And Tara Valkyrie defeated Deonna Purrazzo.
They obviously like Taya in Mexico. She's never burned a bridge down there.
Yep.
She's embraced the culture of Mexico when her and Johnny go down there. They respect her. She's a great in-ring worker. Look, folks, WWE admitted they signed too many people, and despite how great those people might have been, if you were newer, you were probably out the door.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's a loss. I'm not saying that they were right for anything.
Let me be clear. Personally, what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They screwed up with her husband.
Yes.
She ran her mouth too fucking much. That you were a Triple H project.
True.
Triple H brought you in.
Mm-hmm.
Vince and Shawn Michaels never had an eye on her.
True.
Because Shawn openly admitted like he liked her work.
Yeah.
But he wasn't sure she would ever work on American television because of the way she works. And she was a Triple H going, I actually think she would work for what Vince wants to try to do.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, she tried to just keep within herself, keep the same stuff she was already doing, and just change her name. Which I think the decrees are fucking stupid. That's a different subject.
Yeah.
Time. And she deserved to get released, but her husband did not. But I will say this about Taya. She is enthralling because she's actually quite a storyteller in the ring.
Yeah.
I actually thought this was the wrong call.
Really?
But I'm assuming Deonna didn't win this match because Deonna has no plans of going back to Mexico.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. All right. What else? All right. Following that, Leroy?
All right. So after that, we had a 3 match for the X Division, and Ace Austin was a winner there over
another
Trey
guy
Miguel
whose
and,
gimmick I just never.
and Mike Bailey.
Yeah, another guy I just never got at first, and Jesse.
We got a new champ there.
You even admitted was not the guy you probably was going to get right away.
Right.
But damn, can he go in the ring?
Double A is special. In the ring, I always thought like kid's got something good there.
Yeah.
If you can refine what he does so he can stay healthy, Ace Austin's special. And then he refined the character. And then when they added Man Fulton with him, I'm like, okay, now he feels like a main eventer. The X Division is just always special. Because they basically, in that division, they build you. Man, woman does not matter. They build you, and they try to figure out what your best is, and how can we book it best. It's the one thing that Vince should have stolen from Impact, is booking like the X Division, because if he used like the Intercontinental Championship and the U.S. Championship. Which some of the last times it was used like that, that's why John Cena deserved a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Was the fact that he earned that championship again for the second time, and he used it as a way to bring in all that new talent, work with it, and get people to see this is quality talent. You're going to be rooting for these guys the next 15 years.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it's X Division. So
yeah, it's X Division.
This almost gets the what would we call it? The Steen
Steen rule. Yes.
It's just great. It's always going to be great.
All right, now, who's Toshiro? What's
just hand it to Jesse. He'll
Toshiro Ishii, Ishii.
Oh, Ishiaya.
Ishiaya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that just Ishii?
It's like Ishiaya or Ishaya, something like that. Yeah.
Defeated Jonah by pinfall.
Technically, it's Torahoro. This actually started in New Japan Strong.
No, yeah.
So this feud started in New Japan Strong,
and they just brought it over
and
to
so
Yeah.
Impact has actually been doing. By the way, even more so than AEW and WWE.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot of integration. By the way, just great job by Scott to rebuild that relationship.
Yeah.
Not just them, but working with AJPW as well.
Yeah.
And having NJPW be cool with it.
Yeah.
That's just a great job by Scott. So big ups to him. This started in New Japan Strong.
It's a big man match too. It's a big man match.
Torohiro is, for those who don't know, this dude's 6'5", 290 pounds, Japanese muscle murder your fucking life.
Yeah.
Like he's imposing to look at.
Oh yeah.
All right. But Jonas, listen. What is
Jonah,
there to say about Jonas that we didn't say in NXT?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
He's just still working the same matches that he used to work in NXT.
Yeah.
So Jonas great.
All right.
All right, next one was a elimination tag challenge for the tag team champions for the men there. Violent by Design won by eliminating Heath and Rhino.
They've been doing a lot of good work with Violent by Design. They've actually been a very compelling story. I've enjoyed a lot of their work. They've really made a lot of the times where they were supposed to be jokes work. They've made everything work.
I love cats.
Yep. I'm happy for Violent by Design. I mean, I think they're a really good story and one of the more underrated tag team storylines in all of wrestling.
The best thing to me about Violent by Design is it allows guys to. It has allowed those guys. To show two things. One, WWE, you were wrong. We're not just comedy acts. We can be these serious wrestlers, which Eric Young can clearly be.
Despite the fact that Eric said that for the right price he would go back.
Which is just the right mindset.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then
because here's the deal. At some point, even Impact could be done with Eric Young.
Yeah.
They've cut him 4 times in his career, so it wouldn't be anything new to him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Violent by Design. The Rhino's starting to get up there.
Oh yeah.
And as he gets older, he is slowing down. I'm starting to get worried about the knees.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I love Violent by Design.
Yeah.
No,
and then was that the last match before the main event?
No, one more
Okay.
was for the Impact, the Women's Knockout Champion. Tasha Steele defeated Rosemary.
Tasha Steele?
It was such a huge. Well, one, I didn't think they would take the title off of her, but I'm like, well, if you're gonna do it because you're unsure if Tasha's run so far,
It was still a hell of a move.
right. I'm like, if you're gonna do it, it would be Rosemary to do it.
Yeah.
Because Rosemary is Impact to her core. She's going nowhere.
No.
But what a match! Big ups to Rosemary and to Scott for putting this woman over. I've loved Tasha Steele since she was introduced in NWA Power back in 2018. Just a special young talent, only 27. Listen. If I talked about my love for Rosemary, people would think I was talking about my mother. Like that's how much I
All right, yeah.
That's how much I respect and love Rosemary. This was a great match. It's going to be interesting to see where they go next as far as Tasha's title reign.
Yep.
Because a lot of the women have also been reintegrated into the X division and that Internet Championship division.
Yeah.
So
Digital media.
Right.
Yep.
So Jordan Grace is still a threat to that championship.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And then probably a Havoc Jessica Havoc is a big threat.
Yep.
Otherwise, her challengers are kind of limited right now.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't mean to do that.
No.
But their roster for a second was so thin before WWE released all that talent. They were like, well, fuck, we can actually use some of it.
Yeah.
So, great pay-per-view.
Leroy, I have just gotten off the phone with the head of talent. And they have said that due to the ability for pay scales, they are not going to agree to you get to pick first in each round. So we are going to have a now one coin flip for the next 6 rounds. The idea behind this is that Jesse will not be paying the second overall pick as high as the first one. So each round, they're hoping that maybe Jesse, if he gets a first a first overall pick in a round, Jesse will have money for that person. It's just to be fair on the pay scale.
Okay.
So basically, you went with heads, so we're just going to flip that up. Jesse, your tails this time.
Yes.
Leroy is going to be heads.
For
so we're gonna
round 2?
This is for round 2.
Okay.
Whoever gets the first pick. And it is tails. Jesse gets the first pick of the second round. And
Which is women, right?
yes. So that's your women's wrestler. So Leroy, since you lost, would you like to keep heads or switch to tails for round 3?
I'll keep it.
You're going to keep heads.
I'll
Jesse,
keep
your
it.
tails as well.
Right.
So we're going to flip it. And it is tails again. Jesse gets to pick first overall in the third round.
I guess the house doesn't always win, huh?
Yeah.
I know.
Leroy, we'll give you the option one more time. Mix it up.
No.
You're going to stick with heads.
Yeah,
Jesse's
there we
still
go.
tails.
Okay.
So round 4. Jesse, what is round 4 for everyone?
Wrestler is not in AEW, WWE.
Nope. That's actually round 5.
Oh, was it tag team?
Round 4 is going to be your tag team.
Okay, yeah.
So here we go. We're going to flip. Jesse, you're still tails.
Yes.
And we're going to wait for that. And it is once again tails. Jesse gets
God
the first
dang.
pick on tag teams. So, Leroy, you're
See, the bad part is if I go to tails, I'm going to lose probably.
well, that's the interesting thing, folks. You know,
I was at the gamble for me to go heads again too, though. So.
yeah. So folks, you know, Jesse might lose out on possibly the best world champion, but he's going to have a heck of a time building the division from there.
Yeah,
Leroy,
it's gonna be good.
Leroy, 5th round, we are going into the wild card. Would you like to switch, or are we going to stick it up with heads?
I know. Flip a coin to see if I should flip a coin.
Flip a coin, flip a coin, flip another coin.
Yes,
I don't know.
It's entirely up to
Well,
you.
let's see here. The odds, I don't know, it's 50-50
We've
odds.
had 3 tails in a row. Jesse's probably got a much more interesting draft strategy now that he knows he gets the first pick in all
Right.
those in all those rounds.
Well, when I thought I was picking second, I go, what would Leroy probably choose?
Yes, and now for 3 rounds, Jesse gets to kind of go with who he wants.
Right.
I know. Well, yeah, we could have done it. Well, we could have done it different.
Heads or tails, Leroy? For
I mean,
round
and listen, I was
5.
okay with picking. I was okay with picking second because I'm just like, I got.
I'll go heads
I
again.
usually get a feeling of where
The players
Leroy might lead.
Yes, but the Talent Association was not okay with that. They want to
Okay.
be fair on the pay
Okay,
scale.
okay.
So Leroy, heads or
I
tails?
was thinking like going back and forth. I have first, you get the second, I have third. That could have worked too, but yeah.
Leroy, the only way to really have the draft is to have the okay of the
I know.
association.
Well,
So we
yeah.
had to make a deal there. So Leroy, heads or tails?
I'm going to stick with heads.
He's gonna stick
I'm
with heads
sorry.
for round 5. This is for your wild
It'll
card.
probably be heads this time.
And this time we have tails again.
Oh,
Jesse,
wow.
Jesse is
I'm
going
getting screwed.
to pick there. So Jesse, we're actually going to let you pick for 6 and 7. Maybe this will bring Leroy some luck. Would you like heads or tails going into 6 and 7?
I will pick heads.
You're going to pick heads going into managers.
Yes.
Okay. Heads going into managers. It is heads. Jesse gets to go.
Wow.
Ah, damn.
going
Oh,
forward.
my God. I am not having any luck. But at least I got number 1.
Yeah,
least you
yeah,
get
number
number
overall
1.
pick. And for the 7th round, we'll be fair. I'm gonna go ahead and flip a coin here. Heads, Leroy gets tails. Tails,
Sure,
Leroy.
sure.
Yep.
All right, go for it. Let's
So
see
it
what
is,
happens.
in fact, tails. So Jesse, you get heads going into this final flip for round 7. And Leroy may have to change up the draft strategy now that this has happened. So this will make things a little more interesting.
All right.
So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is once again, actually this time it's tails. Leroy, you get to pick first for male singles wrestler in the 7th round. So Leroy gets back on the board there. So ladies and gentlemen, the draft.
This is going to be interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
the draft order will go as follows. In the first round, where you will be picking current world champions, Leroy gets the first overall pick. Rounds 2 through 6, which will be in order: women's wrestling, former world champion, tag team, wildcard, and manager. Jesse, you'll be the first person to pick on the board. And Leroy, you get the final first pick, which will be in the 7th round, the males singles wrestlers. So that is our official draft order, agreed upon by the A13 Cards League and
The wild card now.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. You know, in my head, there's a certain wrestler I just assumed you might go with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, who is that?
He could be a bit of an asshole. could be redheaded, could have slipped your balls a little pinch. But now that I pick first, I don't know.
Well, I have more than just him.
Gentlemen,
there's a couple more on my mind.
Gentlemen,
yeah.
to end the show, your final thoughts now that you know the draft order. We'll go to Leroy, who has the first overall pick. Leroy, your plan going into the draft now, knowing that you will not be picking first in 5 of these 7 rounds.
Well, my thought of mine is a shit. But
it's probably not a bad idea.
I was gonna say
shit.
Like shit. Like,
I almost feel as bad as the Jets there for a sec. I have to poke it. I'm sorry, but yeah, I know
it's not just me.
I know Jesse probably. I know, and Jesse and probably everybody is like, oh, we know who Leroy is gonna pick for a world champion first. Yeah, it's probably very evident of what direction I am going.
All I'm saying, if Trevor Lawrence, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady, it's 3 separate drafts. So if Tom Brady's on the board,
you do. Yeah.
It's easy to assume where you might go.
Yeah. No, there are some very good champions all around.
Right.
And it comes in the U.S. and in Japan.
Right.
There's very good champions.
Yes.
I could do that. But, hey, you never know. We'll see.
Right.
Then when it comes to the rest, I got to put a couple down and see where the chip falls.
Yeah, I was about to say, unfortunately for you, my wrestling roster knowledge is so vast that I could literally go anywhere.
Well, yeah, you